Chapter 28-21 Iron Death Squad. Chapter 28-21 Iron Death Squad. Rumble. 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 The waves of shock were higher than the waves of shock, and even the true Donghuang mountain range was in a state of shock. It was like a cannonball. It stopped only in the evening. Fu Shishan rushed over anxiously. Got it, got it. Long Fei immediately went up to welcome him, and asked, "What is it?" Fu Shishan said, "It belongs to the God's tribe." God's tribe. Long Fei's mind trembled, but when he heard the two words God's tribe, some anger started burning in his heart, and he said, "Isn't God's tribe the strongest? How could this be?" Fu Shishan shook his head. "I haven't found anything. There must be a powerhouse fighting against the God's tribe. Although the God's tribe is strong, but it doesn't mean that everyone in the God's tribe is invincible." "What is that purple light from the God's tribe?" Long Fei asked again. Fu Shishan said, "According to my conjecture, it might be the God's tribe's purple gold divine armor, but I cannot guarantee it. The violet gold God Guard S are the most elite warrior S, and every single one of them are direct disciples of the Emperor Xian. Their commander also possesses the power of the ancient inheritance, and they have followed the Emperor Xian since the inception of the sect, so it can be said that they have never lost. The violet gold God Guard was a legendary existence. He had never lost. Every time the violet gold God Guard went out to war, not a single blade of grass grew. It would be good to deal with the Ming clan. No matter if it was against the powerful clans of the ancient world, they had never lost, much less lost so many people. Not to mention, they, the 8,000 violet gold God Guard, had lost like dogs to one man. None of them were alive. Long Fei muttered, "What's the use of violet gold God Guard's armor fragments?" At this time, Tan Depao ran in anxiously, and said, "It's really useful, especially big, it's simply like a divine pill." Hoo. Tan Depao gasped for breath, his face flushed red, and said, "Brother Fei, that purple armor is a precious treasure. Donghuang College's vice principal Han Wuya has been unable to break through the royal realm for 300 years, but just when he absorbed the power inside the purple armor and instantly broke through and became a royal realm, it's too terrifying." Fu Shishan was slightly taken aback. He stared at Tan Depao and said, "How did you know?" "I don't even know anything about this." Long Fei also asked, "Yes, how did you know?" "You killed Lian Wenhai, so the people of Lian family must be looking for you everywhere." Without waiting for Tan Depao's reply, a few people walked in from the door. Su Su said with a face full of pride, "I told him, Hihi Su Su, Zhu Tian, Nailan Yu, Nailan Xia, a Lung Feng who hadn't appeared in a long time also came. The Ironhead battle team." Long Fei was slightly taken aback as he looked at them, and asked, "Why are you guys here?" Fu Shishan saw the change in their expressions as well. Long Fei didn't know who they were, but he did know that all 5 of them were extraordinary people. Su Su chuckled, "Big brother Long Fei, we're here to visit you. I was locked in my house by my father for the past few days, and he finally escaped today. Hihi, look at me." "Huh." Long Fei said, Okay. Su Su was indeed very good to him. Even the bracelet his mother left him dared to pawn and buy things for Long Fei. He didn't know if he was stupid. However, Long Fei remembered this kindness. Su Su laughed sinisterly, "Since I'm so good to you, then shouldn't you show some mercy?" Long Fei asked, "What do you mean?" Su Su said, "Come with us again to take another risk, This time, we will not capture strange ghostess. This time, when we go out to find violet gold armor fragments, as long as we have these fragments, we will be able to achieve a breakthrough in our cultivation as if we were flying." "Huh." Long Fei was slightly startled, then looking at the 5 of them, they were all dressed in tight clothes. At this moment, Lan Mai also hurriedly walked in and said, "You definitely can't go." Lan Mai walked over to Long Fei's side and said in a low voice, "Elder Swordsman said that the armor fragments contained an abnormal amount of energy. And right now, all of the families in the entire East Imperial City are leaving the city to search for the violet gold armor's fragment. Other than the humans of our East Imperial City, the other major powers of the Ghost Hole, Night Valley, Wormhole and Ice Plains are also searching for it." Elder Swordsman said very little. However, There was one particular reminder for Lan Mai: you cannot find violet gold armor fragments. The power of the god's tribe contained within was not something an ordinary person could control. A little carelessness would lead to eternal damnation. However, Su Su had an indifferent face as he grabbed Lan Mai's arm and said, "Are you big sister Lan Mai? You probably didn't see it, but I saw it for myself. Han Wuya broke through the royal realm after fusing with that purple metal, and I heard from my father that this energy is even stronger than Holy Vaness right now. All the large and small families in East Imperial City are going out of the city to search for it. If your archenemy Yangs gets a piece of the fragment, will he still have a place to stand? The entire Lian family is also out. This is our East Imperial City's chance to reshuffle. If you want our Lan clan to grow stronger, you must seize this opportunity. I heard that your meridians are blocked and you can't cultivate. Maybe the energy inside the violet gold armor fragment can help you break through." Su Su's small mouth continuously chattered without stopping, and said excitedly, "Big brother Long Fei said before, if you don't accept it, go ahead and take it," was completely stunned by what he had said. Xiao Budian rolled his eyes and said in a low voice, "Don't worry, I won't fight with you for Big brother Long Fei. You grow big, I'll grow small, no problem." The voice was a little quiet. However, everyone heard it. Lan Mai's face flushed. Su Su laughed heartily and said, "I'm blushing, he. Then I'll take it that you've agreed." And then he walked to Long Fei's side and said with an evil smile, "Big brother Long Fei, I've helped you settle one. Should I help you settle that, big sister?" Long Fei rolled his eyes at her, speechless. However, his heart trembled slightly. The information in Su Su's words was extremely huge. The power of the god's tribe was much stronger than that of the holy vein, so would it really be able to break through the blockages in Lan Mai's veins? The entire Lian family was out. Then, did Lian Wuchao also go? Was this a chance? Fighting in the open was impossible. Only assassination. Lan Mai herself did not know, but Long Fei was very clear that she did not have much time left. She had to break her meridians within half a year, or else she would die. Tan De Pao was also excited. "Brother Fei, let's do it. Everyone's doing it. If we don't, won't we be unable to keep up?" He also yearned for power. Especially after being sent flying with just one move from Lian Wuchao, his heart thirsted for it even more. Long Fei looked at them, his fists clenched tightly. "Then do it. Yay. The Ironhead Squadron is ready to leave the city." Su Su became excited. Long Fei said, "Ironhead Battle Team is not suitable, we should call them Ironhead Battle Team." Chapter 28-22 Encountering Bandits. Chapter 28-22 Encountering Bandits. The various secret exits of East Imperial City were all filled with people. There was a long queue, but it was also because there were no city gates. Otherwise, there was no need to be like this. However, ever since the establishment of the East Imperial City, there had never been such a wave of people leaving the city. Three-class families, second-rate family, first-rate family, nobility. Even the people from the Donghuang College were rushing out of the city in droves. Han Wuya's instantaneous breakthrough was like a nuclear bomb's explosion, giving rise to a huge impact in the East Imperial City. If one could obtain a metal fragment, they could become a powerhouse of the East Imperial City, or even an overlord. Who wouldn't want to obtain the god's tribe's sacred artifact? It was time to change fate. When the power of East Imperial City was being reshuffled, no one wanted to miss this chance. However, to Long Fei, the temptation of the metals in the violet gold godguard's armor harboring a large amount of power was not even close to the experience of these people. Universal value. He left the city for the metal pieces, for Lan Mai. However, he wanted to level up even more. Lan Clan's secret exit. Elder Swordsman was on the side puffing smoke, not looking at Long Fei and the others. Long Fei actually wanted to understand more about the violet gold godguard from Elder Swordsman, but he didn't seem to care about it at all, and furthermore, Long Fei could feel a very strong killing intent from him. Long Fei could only give up. "Alright, you can go back now," Long Fei said to Lan Mai and Fu Shishan. Lan Mai looked at Long Fei and said, "Be careful, if that's not possible, come back." Actually. He did not continue. Actually. She wanted to say what her father had said before he left. Make her marry Long Fei. It was just that she did not have the face to say it out loud, and adding the fact that Long Fei rejected her last time. Long Fei replied, I will be careful. Fu Shishan said indifferently, you don't have to worry about the matters inside the city, I will take good care of Lan Clan. In addition, our business alliance of Fu family will also send out a caravan to station. If you need any supplies or help, just report my name. The merchant union would always know how to do business. Other people thought about how to find the armor and metal, while business alliance of Fu family wanted to open up a shop, this way he could make a huge profit. Long Fei nodded, and said, I'll remember. All right. I'm going. Long Fei walked into the passage with big strides. Following that, Lan Mai and Fu Shishan also left the dilapidated small courtyard. He sat at the corner of the courtyard and smoked some smoke. After hesitating for a while, he also entered the tunnel. He couldn't bear it either. Hiding in this East Imperial city without any hope, living like a mouse, with a ball of fire burning in his heart all these years. There was no goal, no hope. This time, the slaughter of the violet gold godguard, and the metal that contained the god's tribe's energy sprinkled onto the universal realm, could this be an opportunity? Moreover, after all these years, his cultivation had not improved at all. It was also because the environment of the East Imperial City was too harsh. If he could find 1 or 2 pieces of violet gold armor and metals, would he make another breakthrough? Even if he knew that the power of the violet gold armor was extremely dangerous, he didn't want to miss it in the end. He was really afraid that he would die like this in this city where no one knew him. Who is he? What had he done? He really didn't want to die in the dark. We're out of the city again. This time, I won't be like last time. Susu's face was filled with excitement. He grabbed Long Fei's arm and said softly, I have brought a lot of holy artifact this time. Don't be afraid of encountering Gui Shou's group again. Long Fei laughed bitterly. However, without waiting for Susu to finish speaking, a large group of people rushed out. One after another, they surrounded Long Fei and the rest. Little girl, what holy artifact did you bring? Show it to me. A man said with a smile. This girl is really pretty. I like it. If you like it later, it's your turn. There were more than 10 sturdy men, and each of them had a cultivation of general level. Zhu Tian bellowed, what do you want to do? A brawny guy laughed contemptuously, what are you doing? Can't you see what I'm doing? What a bunch of kids. Just by looking at us, you can tell that we are robbers. Did you hear that? Robbing. Take out all the precious things from the space ring for me. Each of them stared at them with fiendish looks. Some people went out to find energy metals, some went out to open shops to sell things, and there were also a lot of people who wanted to kill and loot the strong man in front of them. Susu said angrily, do you know who I am? Girl, you're so naive. The sturdy man laughed, I don't care who you are. In the city, you are a young miss of a noble family, but outside the city, even if you are the daughter of the city lord, it is useless, because this is outside the city. Listen up, bring out all the good stuff. While he was speaking, the corner of Long Fei's eyes looked towards Lung Feng. Lung Feng nodded lightly. Shua. Shua. 2 figures rushed out. Boom. Boom. With 2 loud bangs, the 2 strong men fell to the ground. At the same time, the 2 of them attacked again without a pause. The brawny men also reacted and drew their machetes, saying solemnly, you want to die? Then I shall grant your wish, brothers, to cripple them. Over 10 sturdy men rushed forward at the same time. Long Fei grinned, I was just worrying about my lack of experience. All of you must die. Leaving you alive is also a disaster. The Gale Fist was repeatedly thrown out, creating a series of crazed yet violent punches. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing bandits for obtaining 10,000 experience points, 1,000 true spiritual value points, and 1 universal value point. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing bandits for obtaining 10,000 experience points, 1,000 true spiritual value points, and 1 universal value point. The system exploded. A few minutes later. Aunt, I was wrong. I don't dare to do it again. Please let me go this time. The sturdy man knelt on the ground and kowtowed as he pleaded, I have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. Please let me go, Susu huffed. Let you go? You wish. The brawny man immediately said, as long as you let me go, I can give you all some top secret information. I know where that purple fireball is located. As long as you let me go, I'll definitely tell you. Everyone was shocked. The purple metal that fell into the East Imperial City was just a small piece. It was fragments of the armor, but what was that huge purple fireball? Was it an entire set of violet gold divine armor? Moreover, the big families in East Imperial City all aimed their huge figures at the purple fireball. Susu became excited and said, all right, I promise you. Speak. The sturdy man said, it's at the border between the Wormhole Valley and the Ice Plains. I was just outside the city when the purple light descended from the sky. I saw it fall in that direction with my own eyes. All right, I said, can I go now? The brawny man got up. Without waiting for him to run, Lung Feng took a step forward, but before that, Long Fei threw out a punch. Chapter 28-23 Backlash of Amethyst Strength. Chapter 28-23 Backlash of Amethyst Strength. Boom. A palm struck the brawny man's chest. The sturdy man stared at Long Fei angrily, his face pale white. He said, no, aren't you letting me go? Long Fei said indifferently, that's what she said, I didn't say. Bam! The brawny man fell to the ground. The system beeped. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing bandits, for gaining 12,000 experience, 1100 true spiritual value, and 1 universal value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Night Spirit Bone. 2 notifications sounded. Long Fei frowned, something dropped. Looking at the Night Spirit Bone that had just exploded, Long Fei's heart was slightly moved. There's still some blood on it, it should have been after killing the Night Valley's demon beast. Susu muttered with her small mouth, looked at Long Fei and said, didn't I promise to let him go? Why did you do it again? If word of this gets out, I'll say I broke my promise. Lung Feng said indifferently, he must die. If he doesn't die, he will be careful by telling more people. And how many people do we know about this? Even if Long Fei had not made his move just now, he would have. Oh, Susu faintly said. She had experienced too few things and had no idea that the people in this world were sinister. Tan Depao looked at Long Fei's tightly furrowed brows and couldn't help but ask, Brother Fei, what's wrong? Long Fei asked, just now, where did he say he is? Tan Depao said, I did not say the specific location, he only said that he is outside the city. Big brother Long Fei, let's quickly go to the place he mentioned. The place where the impulse and the ice plains intersect, the place where. Susu muttered to himself for a while. Nalan Shia took out an exquisite map and looked it over. If this is the border, then it should be here. The insect abyss. Susu immediately said, we will go immediately. Long Fei shook his head. What if he is lying to us? Lung Feng asked slightly, do you know something? Long Fei shook his head, I just don't think it's that simple. If he knew the landing point of the purple big fireball, why wouldn't he go by himself? Why do you want to be a bandit in this place? Susu said, perhaps he's afraid of danger so he doesn't dare to go. Zhu Tian said, could it be that he doesn't know that the purple metal possesses great power? None of this is possible. No matter how dangerous it was, when faced with tremendous power, no one would miss it. Moreover, with so many people leaving the city, even if they didn't know what had happened in the city, they should still be able to guess that there wouldn't be enough time to become a bandit. There must be a reason. Lung Feng said, what do you think? Long Fei said, I feel that this might be a trap, or perhaps he is just talking about a random place to protect his life. While they were talking, Long Fei rummaged through the strong man's body, took out the Night Spirit Bone from the space ring, and said, this is the Night Spirit Bone from his body, the blood has not dried yet. In other words, he might have been to the Night Valley before. Night Valley and Impulse, the ice plains are in completely the opposite direction. Even if he was in Night Valley, it would be impossible for him to see the landing point of the purple-colored big fireball. Lung Feng said, what you mean is, the purple big fireball could be in Night Valley. Long Fei shook his head, it's hard to say. Zhu Tian muttered, Will he be in the ghost cave? Long Fei almost did not think about it, and immediately replied, no way. Lung Feng looked at Long Fei, surprised for a moment, and felt that it was strange. Long Fei did not explain either. He knew clearly in his heart that if the purple big fireball fell into the ghost cave, the Queen of Blood Moon would have informed him already. Su Su said anxiously, then what do we do now? Long Fei said, I want to split into 2 teams, to first investigate the situation, and then make the decision. Just as Long Fei finished speaking, Su Su held onto Long Fei's arm tightly and said, I want to go with Big Brother Long Fei. Zhu Tian said, isn't it better not to spread things out like this? Lung Feng said, the 7 of us will split into 2 teams. We will go to the insect abyss, but how do we notify the other party? Long Fei said, you don't have to worry about this, someone will inform you later. The ghost soldiers were already in position. Seeing Long Fei say that, Lung Feng immediately said, let's go. Zhu Tian, Nailin Xia, and Nailin Yu all followed him. After walking a distance, Zhu Tian asked in confusion, Brother Lung Feng, why do you trust him so much? Yeah. He has no basis. Also, how does he know whether or not the ghastly cave is here? Did something else happen after we left last time? I heard that the tree demon in Black Hell Valley was killed by someone a few days ago. Nailin Yu said. Lung Feng said slightly, even if Long Fei was hiding his strength, he probably wouldn't harm us. Don't worry about it for now, let's go to the insect abyss first. Long Fei was also rushing to the Night Valley. His intuition told him that the bandit must be lying. The Hellhole, Night Valley, Wormhole, Ice Plains, and Western regions were all dangerous places, and any one of them was extremely dangerous. Add the approaching winter. The deeper they went into the mountains, the colder it became. Long Fei made a gesture of silence. The 3 of them crouched down and held their breath. Look carefully, don't miss a single inch of it. As long as we can find a metal fragment, we'll be rich. Search carefully. Suddenly. Buzz. A black shadow flashed past like a ghost. Next. Crack. The head that spoke was cut off. Half of his body stood on the spot as blood spurted out. In that instant, shua shua shua. Swish, swish, swish. The search party of more than a dozen people were all killed within a few seconds. With a pitch-black sound, they were dragged by the sharp claws on the fingers of a half-cat man. They were exceptionally fierce, and after they were all killed, the demon beast dragged a dozen or so human corpses into the darkness. Su Su was struck dumb by the sudden change, and his body couldn't help but tremble. Gui Shou was ugly, she could endure it. However, the night cat demon beast in the Night Valley was so cruel, her mind could not take it anymore. Not only did she kill people, she even ate meat. After a long time, Long Fei said lightly, let's go. The 3 of them moved forward again. Outside the city, somewhere. A huge tent. Han Wuya sat cross-legged, the diamond-shaped purple gold on his forehead continued to glow. He was continuously absorbing the energy inside the purple gold. It was extremely dense. It was incomparably thick. The sound of footsteps came from outside the tent. Han Wuya retracted his aura and opened his eyes. The instant he opened his eyes, his pupils shone with a violet light. Vice Principal. An old man walked into the tent. Han Wuya slightly said, is there an idea now? The old man shook his head, not yet, but after receiving news, City Lord Su Wantu has already collected a purple metal, but he has not fused with it. It hasn't fused yet. Han Wuya frowned, then that's strange, can he resist the temptation of the God's tribe's power? At this moment, Han Wuya suddenly felt pain between his eyebrows. The densely packed meridian channels on his forehead appeared, as if he had been possessed. Chapter 28-24. Chapter 28-24. In an instant, the pupils of his eyes turned ice crystal purple. The old man shivered slightly, Vice Principal, not waiting for him to finish. Shua. Han Wuya moved his body, and instantly crushed the old man's head, causing blood to spurt out all over the ground. Instant kill. Ah! Han Wuya let out a heavy sound. The veins on his forehead had turned purple, and even his hair had turned purple. The purple crystal on his forehead released waves of power. His entire body felt extremely uncomfortable. Han Wuya was Han Wuya after all. The vice principal of the Donghuang College was also a peak expert of the East Imperial City. Facing the inside of the purple crystal which was erupting with such strong power, his mind suddenly sank. Both of his hands formed a seal, and streams of breath of true spirit rushed out. His body trembled. A few seconds passed. Purple hair turned white. The meridians on his forehead became normal, his eyes recovered, the energy inside the purple crystal slowly returned to normal, and Han Wuya let out a long sigh. He looked at the dead elder. Han Wuya clenched his fists tightly, and his teeth chattered loudly. Su Wantu, why did you not fuse with me? Do you know something? He recalled the scene at East Imperial City. It was obvious that the purple metal fragment was rushing towards Su Wantu, but in the end, it had entered the space between his eyebrows. Why was that? In that previous scene, he was not a human, neither was he a ghost. He almost went berserk, causing Han Wuya's heart to turn cold as he instantly flew out of the tent. If you step on me for the rest of your life, I will absolutely not let you step on me again. Shua. After a day and night of traveling, Long Fei and the other two finally entered the center of Night Valley. Although the Night Valley was called a valley, it was actually a huge plain. It was just that there were countless caves in the plains, making it look like a valley. The majority of the demon beast here only came out at night, so they rarely met during the day. However, if they entered the cave, it would be different. The Night Valley was an underground world. The demon beast here had darkness attribute. Many demon beasts were slowly evolved over millions of years, half human, half cat, half human, half cow. It combined the intelligence of humans and the physique of demon beast. Very strong. Long Fei had met many of them in the span of a day and night, and now he suspected that the Winter East Imperial City was unable to withstand the attacks this year. Brother Fei, look. Suddenly, Tan De Pao pointed to the distance, and said, there's a scratch there. It was at least a few meters wide. Long Fei frowned, and looked in the direction of the scar. Not far away was a concave valley. His heart tensed up. Where should be the landing point? It can't be wrong. It's here. Su became excited and asked, did we come to the right place? Long Fei nodded. Big brother Long Fei, you're too smart. Bag. Su directly kissed Long Fei on the cheek. Long Fei was startled. Tan De Pao asked, what about Lung Feng and the rest? Long Fei said, I will inform them now. Su was jumping with excitement. Hey, I finally found it. I want to prove it to father. I'm not that useless. At this moment. Buzz. A buzzing sound was heard. Without waiting for Long Fei to notify the ghost soldier, his forehead tightened and he suddenly shouted, be careful. He turned around and looked. His scalp felt a little numb, as a black sharp blade slashed at Su. Long Fei grabbed Su's arm and suddenly grabbed her and rolled over. Boom. The ground cracked, and the spot that Su was standing on earlier was quickly set ablaze, becoming a ball of black. There was poison on the sharp blade. It was somewhat similar to a underworld fire. At this moment, Long Fei didn't even think about it much. He shouted at Tan De Pao, run. Tan De Pao's reaction was extremely fast. His cultivation was not high, but he rose from a lower plane. With decades of experience in cultivation, his reaction was extremely fast. When Su hugged Su, she didn't feel any fear. Instead, she had a blissful expression. Even in her dreams, she wanted to be hugged like this by Long Fei. Long Fei slapped her butt and shouted, you're still infatuated, hurry up and run. Su almost jumped out from the pain. Her tears were about to flow as she looked at Long Fei as she muttered to herself. Long Fei pulled her small hands and quickly ran out. He turned around to look at the demon beast in the darkness. Damn, what the hell is this thing? He couldn't see it at all. But he was sure that it was definitely a demon beast. The three of them ran for half an hour. The demon beast behind him had not made a single move since the moment he made his move. It was as if his aura had completely disappeared. Who? Tan De Pao panted heavily, and asked, Brother Fei, what is that thing? Long Fei shook his head and said, I don't know, let's not worry about it for now and leave this place first. Leave? Where do you want to go? A familiar voice sounded. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. Lian Wuchao, Tan Depao's mind also suddenly tensed up. At this time, in the darkness, Lian Wuchao walked out with a few Lian family disciples and an elder. A pleased cold smile hung on Lian Wuchao's face. Your luck is really good. To think that I would meet you two trash here. Tan Depao's right arm moved, circulating his energy. But, without waiting for Lian Wuchao to raise his Black Panther too much, a launcher beside him immediately summoned his cannon. The cannon was around the size of a human head, and it aimed straight at Tan Depao. The same launcher. But the difference between the two was extraordinary. Lian Wuchao laughed coldly and said, Move, try moving again. Long Fei slightly said, Move a bit, this is the Night Valley, if you dare to randomly release your power, I believe that not even half a minute will pass and you will be surrounded by the Night Valley's demon beast. Ha ha ha. Lian Wuchao immediately laughed out loud and said, You think I don't dare? Attack. Suddenly, he gave the order. The Lian family disciple also instantly pulled the trigger. Bang! An energy cannon shot out. Long Fei frowned. Tan Depao was not a pushover. The moment the Lian family disciple pulled the trigger, he also suddenly took action, and with a few catcher sounds, an energy cannon shot out. Bam! Two cannonballs collided. The strange thing was, there was no explosion, not even a sound. Lian Wuchao laughed coldly and said, Have you never seen the silencing cannon before? No sound can spread out from a 200-meter radius. Do you think I can touch you now? Ha ha ha. Long Fei's eyes darkened, protecting Su Su behind him. The idea moved. Ache. Xiao Qian, get ready. Right at this moment, Su Su walked out from behind Long Fei, and said, Lian Wuchao, try touching him. Lian Wuchao stared at Su Su blankly for a bit, then grinned and sneered, So it's young Miss Su, you want to protect him? Su Su said, Of course I have to protect my man, quickly scram. Lian Wuchao's eyes turned cold. Others might not know Su Su's identity, but he was clear about it. City Lord Su Wantu's daughter, and the only daughter. Even if her father was the #1 expert of East Imperial City, just the fact that she was by her side was enough to make her proud. Moreover, Lian Kaijiang had warned him again and again to not provoke the Su family. If you offend anyone, you cannot offend the Su family. The Su family is a clan that treats patients, and other than that, the name Su Wantu did not come here for no reason. Su Su said, Did you hear that? I told you to scram further away. Lian Wuchao's heart was in disarray as his anger surged. He said in a deep voice, Miss Su, this is outside the city, not the East Imperial City. Do you think you're still the city's eldest miss? To put it bluntly, no one will know even if you die here. Attack. Suddenly, Lian Wuchao ordered. At this moment, Long Fei took the initiative and moved the idea. Ache, big move. Chapter 28-25 Night Valley S Injuries. Chapter 28-25 Night Valley S Injuries. Ache, enlargement stroke. As soon as he finished, behind Long Fei, Ache suddenly appeared. With an ice-cold expression, he pulled on the ice bow and released an arrow. At such a close distance, there was no way to dodge at all. Lian Wuchao was instantly shot. Bam! 1920F***CK. Long Fei's heart sank, such low damage. When he had hit Lian Wenchao, his damage was already at 6 digits, but it was not even 2,000 now. The difference in damage between the two was like difference of 10,000 miles, which also showed that Lian Wuchao was way stronger than him. Immediately, Long Fei immediately grabbed Su Su's hand and shouted at him, Run! He swiftly ran out. Eldest young master! Eldest young master! A few disciples of the Lian family and the elder also did not chase after Long Fei. To Long Fei, Lian Wuchao was more important. Lian Wuchao was stunned in place. The moment he was hit by the magical crystal, he couldn't move at all. After being stunned for 3.5 seconds, his body suddenly moved. Damn it! A deep sound. Lian Wuchao's eyes were brimming with fury. Looking at the Long Fei who had already disappeared into the darkness, his eyes slightly narrowed as he let out a cold laugh. If that young Miss Su returns alive and tells Su Wantu what happened just now, then you. The old man said lightly. Lian Wuchao laughed coldly and said, they won't go back. The elder immediately asked, do you want me to chase them? Lian Wuchao said, no need, they are currently running deep into the Night Valley, that is the most dangerous place in the Night Valley, they will not be able to live. Even if we survive. Heh. The entire Night Valley is my people, and they won't be able to escape from my grasp. And then, Lian Wuchao ordered, go and notify my grandfather that the largest landing point for the purple flames has been found. It is at Night Valley, let him reinforce us immediately. Long Fei and the others could see the scratches on the hillside, Lian Wuchao had also noticed it. Moreover, smoke continuously rose up from the valley not far away. It was certain that this was the place where they were going to land. A lot of people went to the ice field. However, there were not many people in Night Valley, and most of the people here were from Lian family. Once Lian Kaijiang arrived, he was ready to make his move. Lian Wuchao looked into the distance, and the corner of his mouth slightly curled. I just so happened to let you two scout out for me. Hey, do you think you can escape from me? No matter who killed my brother, you will all be buried with him. Cold and ruthless. Huff, huff. Su panted heavily, his chest rising and falling uncontrollably, his face red and filled with anger. Lian Wuchao dares to attack me, when we return, I will definitely not forgive him. Tan De Pao said slightly, we can talk after we return, this is the Night Valley's hinterland. In other words, they had already reached the most dangerous place in Night Valley. Long Fei looked around, there were many caves and these caves were all emitting an aura of power, there must be Night Valley demon beast below them. It was just that there was something strange about it. They did not hide their auras, and logically speaking, they should have already been crowned by the Night Valley's demon beast after running for such a long time, but they did not see any of them. So what if it's the Night Valley's hinterland? Don't let me go back, otherwise, I will definitely make his Lian family look good. Humph. Su was still very angry. Tan De Pao was a little contemptuous. Long Fei squatted by the side of a cave, and the idea slightly moved, that's strange. Why aren't there any demon beastess? Su said, isn't it good to have no demon beast? You still hope that the demon beast will chase after us. Tan De Pao also noticed that something was wrong with his surroundings. This was completely different from the Hintery area, where demon beastess were everywhere, but here. The more Long Fei thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. Su pointed in the distance and said, there is smoke coming out from there. Is that where the purple flames fell? Long Fei looked up and saw thick smoke rising from a deep valley not far away. Tan De Pao looked at the scratches in the distance and said, it can't be wrong, it should be that place. Ha ha ha. Su immediately laughed excitedly, and said, we found it, he. Big brother Long Fei, we are going to send it. Now let's see who dares to look down on me. As they spoke, Su ran towards the valley. Long Fei also quickly went over. Half an hour later, lying at the mouth of the valley, the three of them looked down, their expressions suddenly changing. A purple glow constantly flashed out from the cave. It was very dazzling, however. A large number of demon beast had died in the surrounding area. Corpses were strewn across the fields, and the entire valley was filled with corpses. What was strange was that these demon beast did not have any bloodstains on their bodies, nor were there any wounds on their bodies. Or standing. Or fall. Their eyes were all filled with incomparable terror as they witnessed an unimaginably terrifying scene. Furthermore, their bodies were all facing the same direction as they died. Tan De Pao muttered, what is happening? Aren't they Night Valley's demon beast? Weren't they evolved from demons, devils, ghosts, or the like? Is there anything in this world that they are afraid of? And, Brother Fei, look at their bodies. They don't have any injuries. They look like they've been petrified. How did it turn out like this? Even the violet gold armor fragments in East Imperial City did not have such an effect, Tan De Pao asked. Long Fei looked at each and every one of them, and muttered to himself, they should have died in an instant, and moreover, there was no way to dodge them. Tan Dapao secretly clicked his tongue. Isn't this power too terrifying? Susu looked at the valley to see if there were any demon beast, grinned, and said, "We'll find out once we get down there." Without waiting for Long Fei to stop her, she had already walked down the valley. The valley was shrouded in thick smoke, and from time to time, purple lights would shine from the cave. The surroundings were very quiet, without a single sound. Long Fei and the other two walked down the valley. Susu walked in front of a giant cat demon and lightly touched it. Hualala. His body instantly disintegrated into fine powder. Long Fei trembled. At the beginning, he only felt that it was because their heart veins had been shattered, but now, it seemed that it was far more serious than what he had said. And it wasn't even a hit. It was just an energy shockwave. When he walked into the valley, he discovered that everything had become charred black. He stepped on the thick layer of dust, and it was hard to imagine what had happened when he crashed into the valley. Looks like Night Valley doesn't have much power to attack East Imperial City this year, Tan Dapao muttered. This is too fucking cruel. What kind of power is this? At this moment, Long Fei's gaze darkened, and he immediately shouted, "Be careful. Buzz. Buzz. Buzz." Before he finished speaking, a few rays of Yi Mai fell. Long Fei, Tan Dapao, and Susu all carried sharp blades that flashed with a cold light on their necks. Chapter 28-26, Triplet Sisters. Chapter 28-26, Triplets Sisters. A cold chill. A cold aura permeated the air. With just a slight movement, that sharp blade would be able to cut open the great arteries. At this moment, Long Fei's body instantly stiffened, and he immediately said to Susu and the others, "Don't move recklessly." 3 Yi Mai S. Their entire bodies were pitch black, and their appearances couldn't be seen. However, they looked like females because their figures were extremely similar to females. Tan Dapao's gaze darkened as he looked at Long Fei. Long Fei's eyes moved slightly, signaling for Tan Dapao not to act carelessly, because if these 3 Yi Mai's wanted to kill them, it could be said that they were already dead. Susu was a little young miss, so he shouted loudly, "Who are you? How dare you sneak attack me? Do you know who I am?" Long Fei slightly said, "If you have something to say, please say it well. We do not have any ill intentions." One of the 3 Yi Mai S spoke in crappy human language, "Let's go." And then, his body moved, and directly pushed himself onto Long Fei's body. Long Fei asked, "Where to?" "Just move forward." Yi Mai's voice was somewhat cold. Tan Dapao looked at Long Fei, and said solemnly, "Boss, I'll cover them, you should take the chance and make your move." Not waiting for him to finish, one of Yi Mai's said, "If you dare move even a bit, you will immediately die." As soon as he finished, the sharp blades in their hands seemed as if they could transform into hooks with a catcher sound and directly wrapped around the necks of the 3 of them. As long as they used even a little bit of strength, Long Fei and the other two's heads would fall off. Even if Long Fei had the immortal transformation of the Heaven Martial Dragon's divine transformation, it was still useless. If he lost his head, how could he not die with 0 blood? Long Fei also said slightly, "Don't worry, we won't recklessly move." She lightly shook her head at Tan Dapao. Moreover, in front of them was a huge cave. Beside the cave there were traces of drag marks. Clearly, if the purple flames really fell here, they would definitely be dragged into the cave. They were here for the purple light flame, so entering the cave would be for the best. The 1,000 Ghost Assembly of the Ghost Hole. Underground City of the Wormhole. Hell's Hall of the Icy Plains. The mysterious cave of the Night Valley was the most dangerous place out of the 4 great families, and also the most peculiar place. So far, there was no one who was still alive after entering, except Long Fei. Just as they were about to reach the entrance of the cave, several rays of cold wind blew past Long Fei's body. 2 black shadows descended, and one of them, whose entire body was a silvery gray, spoke with an icy voice that seemed like it came from a dragon. "Not bad, we caught 3 humans, but what's the use? The 3 of you can't change anything, just give up obediently. Ha ha ha. When you become my ghost concubine, you will also be at the peak of power in the Night Valley." Finished. The silver-gray shadow flew out, its cold laughter still echoing in the valley. The bodies of the 3 Ys trembled slightly. One of them was on the verge of tears. Long Fei said, "If you have any difficulties, tell me. Maybe I can help you." No matter what. Something had to be done, and something big must have happened to the Night Valley now. So many people had died in the valley. One of the Yi wanted to speak, but was stopped by the other person, who said coldly, "Let's go." He walked into the cave. The 3 of them were slightly startled. The cave was like a palace. Its interior was far larger than what Long Fei and the others had imagined. The Night Valley clan people inside were also in a hurry, upon seeing Yi Mai and the other 2 bowing respectfully, some coldly ridiculing, while some old people ignored them. Half an hour later, Long Fei and the other 2 were locked in a room. The room was transparent. On one side was the corridor, and on the other side was a huge sky ditch, and the purple light was coming from the sky ditch. Tan Depao's face was also filled with shock as he said, "Brother Fei, it's right below us." Su also laughed. "We have to think of a way down." Long Fei said, "Don't be anxious, we don't even know how deep this sky pit is, and what exactly is that ball of purple light? We don't know." The purple light would not leave, so Long Fei was not worried. What was he worried about now? It wasn't just them. There were also many people locked up in the surrounding rooms. Some of them had just been captured, while others had been locked up for a period of time. Everyone in the Night Valley were in a hurry, as if they were all very nervous. Humans were constantly caught and brought in. What was going on? Why are you capturing so many humans? Do you want to do some research? Long Fei muttered to himself. Su also said, "The powers of the Night Valley hate humans the most. They are the first ones to launch an attack on the East Imperial City every year in the midwinter." He didn't understand. Huff. Long Fei let out a light breath, turned and sat cross-legged, swallowed a Zhengling pills and converted it into normal practice mode, then said lightly, "Recuperate and store your energy, make the best use of your time to rest." Su mumbled as he changed his posture. Tan Depao did not cultivate. When Long Fei was cultivating, he felt that he did not know how to cultivate. Long Fei did not waste any time cultivating in normal mode. He spent an hour of time on it every day. Although it was still pretty much the same as the beginning, he could still obtain quite a few experience points after an hour of normal cultivation with the help of Zhengling pills. 1 hour later. Long Fei opened his eyes slightly, and his mind moved. Convert experience point. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 62,420 experience point. His experience points is more than 60,000 units in an hour, and it's still too little. I have to hurry and cultivate. Long Fei felt his scalp tingling just watching the leveled up 100 million experience. The leveling speed was too slow. Demon Beast were too hard to kill. Is this the highest difficulty? After completing the normal mode, Long Fei did not linger around to train his skills. Time passed by second. Suddenly, boom! A loud bell sound echoed in every corner of the cave. Long Fei suddenly stood up. Su was also shocked. Drool hung down from the corner of his mouth as he stomped his feet in anger. "I almost ate a chicken leg." Long Fei looked at Tan Depao and asked, "When?" It was the same inside the cave, day and night. Tan Depao said, "It should be early in the morning. Come out. All of you, come out and die. All of you useless ants, get out here right now." Suddenly, a large group of Night Clan guards came and opened up the cells one by one, chasing the people inside out. The strange thing was, no one opened up Long Fei and the others' cells. Long Fei slightly asked, "What's the situation?" Tan Depao said, "I have observed for the entire night. From their words, I can roughly guess that this is King of Night Valley's competition. Old Night King doesn't seem to be going to make it. I was knocked half to death by the purple light flames. Now I only have my last breath left. And the one who caught us yesterday was the triplet's daughter of the old Night King. But the only humans they have captured are the 3 of us, so the 3 of us must represent them. If we lose, we will die, and the 3 of us will become the playthings of the new Night King." Chapter 28-27, Descendant of the Ming Clan? Chapter 28-27, Descendant of the Ming Clan? Then haven't we become their toys? Su said in displeasure. Tan de Pao replied, more or less. The key is, ye my triplets only caught the three of us, but those other people caught so many people, we definitely could not stop the battle. Tan de Pao looked at Long Fei and said, Brother Fei, what should we do? At this moment, everyone in the cells all walked out, leaving Long Fei and the other two behind. Not long later, the three EMIS walked to the front of the cell. Long Fei also walked up to them and looked at them. It was still the same as last night. Their faces were covered by veils, making it hard to see their appearances. However, judging from their figures, they should not be bad-looking. But one thing was different from last night. There was an exclamation mark above their heads. Task flags. Or the 7 meridians. Long Fei's expression tightened, and immediately said, I can help you. Tan de Pao and Su Su were startled. The eyes of the three EMIS flashed a hint of light as well, but it disappeared in an instant. How could they believe the words of a general-level human? Moreover, the general level was the weakest amongst all the humans they had caught. They, too, had been laughed at all night. Not only that, most of the people in the Night Valley clan drew a clear line between them. They would definitely lose this time's King of Night Valley selection. Su Su muttered, Are you crazy? Tan de Pao was also puzzled, let alone taking turns to fight. Just with their cultivation, they were not his opponents, how could they win? Long Fei did not know either. But he wanted to activate the quest and see what it was about. However, these words did not mean that the mission was activated. They did not believe Long Fei at all. It didn't activate. Rub. Force my enlargement stroke? Moreover, Long Fei could not let go of any of the missions now, let go of the rewards of any of the missions, since they did not believe that Long Fei could only go through enlargement stroke. The idea moved. Activate 100 charm value. Ding. Activation successful. In an instant. Long Fei's appearance did not change much, but the aura his body was emitting was instantly filled with magic, and with that aura, the three EMIs were instantly attracted. Su Su also had a face full of infatuation, almost to the point of undressing himself. Tan de Pao was also shaking his head, he could not control himself. What's going on? I'm not gay, I'm not gay, how could I be enchanted by Brother Fei? I won't. Impossible. I'm definitely not gay. Tan de Pao couldn't control himself. He wanted to go crazy. Long Fei's body seemed to be releasing a demonic energy, both men and women killed each other. This was the strength of 100 points of charm value. Su Su tugged her cheeks with her fist, her eyes shining, with a face full of infatuation. Big brother Long Fei is so handsome. The eyes of the three EMIS also shone, as they could not help but lean forward. Long Fei said again, I can help you. This was completely different from the answer he had just received. The three EMIS quickly nodded and said, Master, can you really help us? Long Fei replied, Of course. The three EMIS said at the same time, Thank you, sir. Can you help us win the Night King's election? Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the quest, Help Yimai win the King of Night Valley. Mission, Win the King of Night Valley level, S-Time, 1-day reward, 100 million experience, random lottery draw, new system evolution, obtained from the Yimai sisters. Punishment, Death Ding. Do you accept? Looking at the system notification, Long Fei's eyes became serious. Damn, if I fail the mission then I die. Isn't this punishment a little too harsh? However, task reward is also the same, directly giving us 100 million experience. Sure. Roger that. Isn't life like this? Long Fei moved his body and accepted the mission, then he said to the three sisters, Okay, I'll agree to it. But, after completing the mission, you should let us go, right? The three sisters quickly nodded and said, Definitely. The prison door opened as Long Fei and the other two walked out of the cell, following behind the three sisters. Triplets have the same height, weight, and body. If I can make them. Long Fei was somewhat evil. However, he did not even need to use any evil intentions. Just the fact that he had 100 charm value meant that there was no woman in this world who could resist him. Long Fei withdrew his charm value. Tan de Pao was the first to react. Phew. I really am not gay. No matter how charming Fei Ji is, I can't be gay with him. Amitabha, he prayed. Su was also startled, but she still had a face full of infatuation when she looked at Long Fei. When the three sisters woke up, they were stunned for a moment. They were a little afraid of what they had just done, but that was all they could do now. Heh. I advise the three of you not to struggle to the death. Be my concubine. An old man laughed sinisterly. Behind him, there were over 100 people crowded around, all captured by him. Big Sister said, Elder Huang, the selection is not over yet. It's not certain who will win. Old man Huang sneered, you think you can win with just the three trash behind you? Ha ha ha. I only asked you to admit defeat because you're my niece. If it was anyone else, I would have already ridden you under my crotch. The faces of the three sisters sank. At this moment, Night King has arrived. For people were lifting a huge bed, and on the bed lay an old man, his breath slowly flowing away. His entire body was heavily injured, and his face was pale, but his eyes were exceptionally lively as he said, let's not talk anymore, let's begin, I don't have much time left, cough cough cough. A quick cough. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. The three girls wanted to go forward, but they were stopped. They couldn't even get close to their father. Because the old Night King had the Night King's legacy, if they were to obtain this power, then there was no need to choose. Let's begin. As soon as he finished, Old Man Huang's finger moved slightly, and he said faintly, go, slaves. If you win, you will live. If you lose, you will die. A few humans rushed out. At the same time, the three Yimai sisters were slightly startled as they jumped onto the stage. Old Man Huang laughed coldly, you actually went up first by yourself? Then you guys can go and die. Long Fei looked at the old man on the bed, his chi startled Long Fei, strange, why does this look like the chi of the Ming clan? Grandfather, look at the scar on the hillside, it should be the Night Valley. And I just received news that the king of Night Valley was crippled by the purple flames. He won't be able to live for more than a few days. This is an extremely rare opportunity for us. Lian Wuchao was excited. Lian Kaijiang was also incomparably excited. He knew about Han Wuya. If he could fuse with one of the god's tribe's powers, he would be able to break through his shackles and enter the royal realm. At that time, the person who found the god's tribe's curse mark would be the sole ruler of the East Imperial City. Lian Kaijiang's finger moved slightly, and she said coldly, disciples of the Lian family, listen up. Attack the Night Valley. Chapter 28-28, Bullying Women. What is this skill? Chapter 28-28, Bullying Women. What is this skill? Using humans as a wager, they decided to win or lose. 300 lifesteal human warriors surrounded Yi Mai and the other two sisters in the middle. The fact that they went out to fight first instead of letting Long Fei and the other two fight made them very unhappy with the people of Night Valley clan. To them, humans were ants that should not live in this world. They did not have the right to live in this world. Kill her. Kill them all. Kill. Many people from Night Valley clan began to shout out, extremely angry at the actions of the three Yimai sisters. The corners of Elder Huang's mouth drew back as he laughed coldly. The trend is such that you have lost for sure. Attack. The order was given. Hundreds of human warriors instantly attacked. They were slaves here and they had no other choice. Although they knew that their chances of survival were slim, they still held some hope. If we kill the three of them, we'll be able to live. Kill. Kill them all. Every single warrior had brought out their strongest fighting capabilities. They wanted to be more valuable in front of the old man Huang, so they might be able to let him go. Tan De Pao trembled slightly, and said, Brother Fei, can the three of them handle it? Long Fei shook his head and said, I don't know, if they can't hold on, then they will lose for sure. Su was a little confused, why didn't we go meet them in battle? How did it become the three of them? Long Fei said indifferently, have you heard of Tianji's horse racing? Tan De Pao and Su shook their heads at the same time, who is Tianji? What happened to the horse race? Long Fei was startled, he forgot that it was a story from ancient China, and immediately said, simply put, we should use a good horse to deal with their inferior horses, and win first. Even if I lose, it'll be a draw if I use a lower horse against their upper horse. Tan Dapao scratched his head. Brother Fei, then which of the three sisters are we? Su Su did not hear it, and said, I'm not a horse after all. Long Fei looked at the three sisters on the stage. He was not sure, but he knew that if he wanted them to fight against the 300 over-human warriors, they would have no chance of winning. Because of the level, it could only be seen whether the three Yimai sisters could still hold on. Once they accepted it, there might be hope for this mission. Class mission. Since it's activated at this time, there must be a way to complete it. Long Fei firmly believed that when a quest appeared, it was definitely impossible for some impossible missions to appear in the game. He was a professional gamer. He knew the rules of the game very well. Long Fei looked at the stage, and said to himself, I must endure it. Of course. Long Fei's worries were a little excessive. The three Yimai sisters could be said to be more skillful in the arena. The combat power that they had erupted with exceeded Long Fei's expectations, the three of them standing back to back, as though they were one. Motion coordination. Speed control. In that they are triplets, their minds are connected. If one of these human martial artists came, then one would die. If one of them came, then one would die. It was simply impossible to approach them. The sharp blades in their hands could be said to be abnormally powerful. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk every time he attacked, someone would fall. His figure is like a ghost, his strength is like a mountain, his defense is like a shield, and his killing intent is like a god. Once he strikes, he will definitely die. Long Fei muttered, this coordination can be said to be perfect. An existence that could not be picky about. Their tacit understanding shocked Long Fei. Tan Dapao was also extremely shocked, and said, these three sisters are too awesome. So strong. It looks like. We are inferior horses. Tan Dapao looked at Long Fei and muttered, I even thought we were high-class horses. Long Fei was a little embarrassed. Old Man Huang's expression did not change at all. He remained calm and collected, not angry at all because human warriors could not rush into the arena. His face was filled with sneer. No matter how many humans died, he wouldn't feel sad. The same was true for the few elders beside him. The old man on the bed who had already entered the gates of hell with one foot had a calm expression without any ripples. His daughter's perfect cooperation did not have a hint of joy on her face. It was as if he didn't take them seriously at all. Human trash. What rubbish. If you can't even deal with 3 women, what's the use of you slaves? If I had known earlier, I would have killed them. Many Night Valley clan people clamored. He was not satisfied with the hundreds of human slaves, so much so that some of the Night Valley clan could not help but rush forward. Boom. 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 Another wave of harvesting started. The number of human warriors was getting fewer and fewer. Lots after piles of dead bodies fell down the arena, and blood started dripping all over the ground. Although the 3 sisters had always held the upper hand and suppressed hundreds of human warriors, the consumption of their true spirit was enormous. I won't be able to hold on for too long. Long Fei frowned. Tan Dapao said, then it's all right, we will win soon, all that's left are some soft prawns with weak legs. Most of the human martial artists had already died. There were a few remaining who could not be considered a threat at all. However, at this time, Long Fei stared intently at Old Man Huang. Suddenly, Old Man Huang's figure disappeared. It was also at this moment that Long Fei yelled out, careful. Before he could finish his sentence, Wang, a buzzing sound suddenly exploded. Bang, bang, bang. 3 consecutive punches. The 3 sisters instantly retreated, their faces pale, blood trickling down from the corners of their mouths. Each of them received serious injuries from a single palm strike, unable to withstand the power of the Old Man Huang at all. Ha ha ha. Well fought. Kill them. Kill them all. Everyone around was cheering. Old Man Huang sneered sinisterly, I'll give you one last chance. Kneel down and admit defeat. Otherwise, die. A Yimai said angrily, Elder Huang, you are our uncle after all, aren't you ashamed to say such words? Ha ha ha. What is shame? Can I eat, or can I use it? Besides, Why do you think I made you my ghost concubine? If it wasn't for the fact that the three of you look pretty good and have triplets, that is the best in the world, do you think you would be able to live until now? Old Man Huang had a look of disdain. Hurry up and make your choice. You can either be my plaything or die. The three sisters' bodies sank, and their auras gushed out again. Even if they were severely injured and lacked combat strength, they didn't want others to humiliate them. Hee hee. It seems like you've already made your choice. Very well, I'll grant you that wish. The aura on Old Man Huang suddenly exploded out like a fierce tiger's roar. Streams of force, like arrows that were quickly shot out, charged straight towards the three sisters. At this moment, what is so good about bullying women? Fight with Lousy if you dare. Chapter 28-29, Critical Hit. Chapter 28-29, Critical Hit. With that, the entire audience fell silent. Because the voice was not the voice of the people of Night Valley Clan, but the voice of a human. Tan De Pao looked at Long Fei, and was a little unable to react. Damn, this act of posturing. Isn't that a bit too much? While they were talking, Long Fei had already walked out. Su Su immediately followed. The space between Old Man Huang's eyebrows trembled, and his gaze shifted to Long Fei. I've seen people who aren't afraid of death, but I've never seen anyone who isn't afraid of death like you. His eyes were sharp, and his pressure was like a mountain. Boom. Boom. Rumble. Long Fei's sea of consciousness was like a fighter jet bombarding. The powerful pressure crazily crushed him. It was extremely uncomfortable. However, Long Fei held on and pretended nothing happened as he walked towards the stage step by step and laughed. I have seen people bullying others, but I have never seen a man who bullies women like you. In my old home, people like you are dragged out to be fed to dogs. Old Man Huang's gaze turned sinister. Their eyes became incomparably gloomy, filled with a cold killing intent. Elder Huang, he said that you want to be fed to the dogs. Elder Huang, can you endure being humiliated by a human? This kid is too arrogant. What kind of place is this to dare act so arrogantly? Elder Huang, kill him, kill him. Immediately, the surrounding Night Valley clan people clamored. This is the Night Valley. It was one of the 4 great dangerous grounds in the territory of the western regions, one of the Night Valley clan people who had an irreconcilable feud with the human race. How dare a human act arrogantly here? Furthermore, he was only a human from the general level. Too arrogant. The people of Night Valley clan could not tolerate it. The Old Man Huang laughed coldly and said, to kill you, a single finger is enough, but to kill you would be too easy. I will skin you alive and put it on a dog's body. He didn't want to kill Long Fei that quickly. It made him unhappy. He would make the other party even more unhappy. The third of the 3 sisters said anxiously, what are you doing here? You are not his match. The 3 of you should hurry up and leave. We don't need your help anymore. Long Fei walked onto the stage and stood in front of the 3 sisters, and said, since you guys are here, I won't leave. Leave? What kind of joke was this? Quest no more? He wasn't going to kill the boss. You don't want the violet gold godguard's armor? If he had left, Long Fei would not have left the city from the beginning. Old Man Huang also laughed sinisterly. Leave? Do you think those 3 useless humans can leave? At this moment, the few humans who were still alive suddenly escaped. Old Man Huang grabbed with his 5 fingers. Shua. A black energy current shot out from his 5 fingers and directly crushed a human's head. You want to leave? Humph. Do you humans want to get away with it? His methods were cruel and his strength was incomparably powerful. His cultivation was at least at senior realm. It was easy to kill someone in the air. Only the powerhouses could do it. Tan De Pao and Su Su secretly tightened their eyes when they saw the dead human. Long Fei was very calm. He smiled lightly and said, I will not rest until I achieve my goal. My goal is also very simple, which is, to kill you. The 3 sisters were stunned as they looked at Long Fei. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Many people from the Night Valley clan all laughed out loud. A trash of the general level wants to kill someone? Didn't your mother tell you before that the lowest level warrior of our Night Valley are all at the spiritual realm? You want to kill someone in the general level? Wow, this is too terrifying. Kid, how are you going to kill me? With your mouth. Ha ha ha. A person like you who overestimates his own abilities will not live past one day in our Night Valley. What are you saying? Just kill him. With the cultivation of the general level, did he kill the senior realm? A fantasy story. Old Man Huang also could not hold back his laughter. He looked at the three sisters and said, "These are the humans that you have captured. Other than their mouths, I did not see a single person on their bodies." The eyes of the three Yimai sisters darkened as well as they said to Long Fei in a low voice, "You are not his match, you should quickly get down from the stage." At this moment, the corner of Long Fei's mouth slightly hooked up. "You like laughing? Then laugh to your heart's content." The idea moved. Ache, big move. Buzz. Ache was summoned and at the same time, he released a gigantic magic crystal arrow. Bam! Locked at close range, instant hit. The ice arrow exploded on Old Man Huang's body. It was as if his entire being was frozen solid, and he fainted. 3.5 seconds. Continue attacking. Long Fei gave an order to Ache, beaten magic power. The beaten magic power was activated. His hands were like the wind, gale fists. He attacked with all his might. 10, 12, 19. The damage was so low that it made people's hair stand on ends. Long Fei wanted to die. The boss HP had already reached 100,000 points. How could he kill it with such an attack power? They wouldn't be able to kill him. Ache's attacks never stopped, but her damage was also limited, and could only reach 3 figures. The senior realm was too strong. How could he fight someone who was dozens of levels away? However, even so, Long Fei did not give up. He had used 3.5 seconds of time to the limit. Even if there was 1 point of damage dealt, Long Fei would still do it to the best of his abilities. Long Fei's body sank. The idea moved. Go, Pikachu. The giant metal ball that was 150 kilograms fiercely smashed outwards, heavily smashing Old Man Huang's body. At the same time, a series of cracking sounds could be heard from the sky exquisite steel ball. Boom! A bolt of lightning struck down. 19322. It could be considered the highest damage, causing Old Man Huang to bleed from his forehead. It was also at this time. Long Fei lowered his body and steadied his horse. The stun time was over. Old Man Huang was enraged. He moved his palm and a dense palm directly struck out. His strength was like the sea. A series of deafening roars sounded out. A palm heavily smashing onto Long Fei's chest, causing his chest to crack and black veins to spread outwards, while Long Fei's entire body was instantly sent flying. The health point above his head had become 0. Dragon God transformation. First form, don't die. Buzz. 0 blood won't die. Even if there were no health point left, Long Fei had not died, but it was not absolutely impossible for 0 blood to survive. It only had a certain amount of time to protect. If you cannot recover your health point within this period of time, you will still die. Ding. Beaten magic power energy values accumulation completed. Are you releasing it? One palm was already filled with energy. How strong was that palm? Long Fei endured the pain, and let out a heavy shout. Ache. 10,000 arrows shoot at the same time. Slow down his speed. It was also at this time. Boom. Long Fei rushed up the stage at full speed. Fuck. This daddy will return your palm attack. The killing intent in Old Man Huang's eyes grew stronger. He was angered by the fact that he was unable to kill Long Fei with a single palm, and the power of the senior realm burst forth. Trash human, die. Rumble. Palm to palm. A frontal attack. Long Fei was sent flying once again, but a scarlet number floated above Old Man Huang's head. 166272. Critical hit. Style equals display. None GFBM MJD6 VTL SADIJNA Mr 7X plus CAJFRXMLDLWH. ZZY08Z5GISJL Pied DIGJFYQ9N6ALNTKPRNLIFSKMT6M4KHQW Junior A equals MMP. Again. Chapter 2830 The Inheritance of the Emperor. Chapter 2830 The Inheritance of the Emperor. He just wouldn't submit. It was tough. So what if you have the senior realm? This father's undying realm. This was the cultivation technique that Black and White had passed on to him. At that time, Long Fei knew that he would need to travel the road ahead of him in the future. Black and White might not help him much. At that time, he didn't say it, but Long Fei understood it clearly in his heart. The dragon god's transformation was to let Long Fei protect himself well. However, Black and White would never have thought that a madman like Long Fei would actually use the dragon god's transformation to play this way. In a clash of palms, Long Fei was sent flying once again. However, not dead. It was the same as before, Zero Blood didn't die. On the other hand, Old Man Huang staggered a few times. On the surface, he looked exactly the same. One could tell just by looking at the 160,000 damage dealt. The surrounding people were also stunned. Is he crazy? Is this human crazy? Are you sick? What's the situation? Why didn't Two Palms kill him? Isn't he a general-level cultivator? Old Man Huang can kill a whole bunch in one move. I don't understand. Why is he still alive? The three sisters were also stunned, seeing Long Fei rush up the stage once again. They did not know what to say, but they were stunned. Tan De Pao was also confused. He's getting stronger again, and Brother Fei is getting stronger again. Holy shit, he's just a freak. How much time has passed for him to actually be able to fight against the of the senior realm? Su Su didn't care about all that. Instead, he looked at Ache with a jealous expression, looking at her breasts, then at himself, then at her figure, then at himself, then at her appearance and temperament, and then at himself. Complete defeat. Su Su muttered to herself, when did we hide such a demoness? How many things do I not know? Very depressed. How preposterous. I'd like to see how many moves you can take. The Old Man Huang was furious to the extreme. He had not killed Long Fei in 2 consecutive moves and had even sustained light injuries himself, causing his anger to roil about. His hands sank. Buzz, buzz, buzz. One after another, dark forces emerged from the ground. The people of Night Valley Clan's face changed. Ghost power. The Old Man Huang is angry. That kid won't be able to take it this time. Prepare to die, boy. Ghost power was a taboo power within the Night Valley Clan. However, from Long Fei's point of view, it was not a ghost power at all, but a power of nether, a type of super force of Ming Clan. Night Valley is Ming Clan? Long Fei became anxious. Didn't they say that the universal realm no longer has any power from the Ming Clan? Is it just the same power? Ming Clan had been suppressed by the Gods tribe, and it could be said that it had completely collapsed. Beneath the might of heaven, Ming Clan-s were not allowed to exist. Long Fei did not think too much about it. Glancing at the time of the dragon god's transformation, his heart secretly tightened as well. He flipped his left hand. Buzz. A purplish-black flame faintly twined around his palm. At this moment, the god's tribe-s on Long Fei's chest shone with light. Buzz. As long as he used the power of the ancient inheritance, the curse mark in Long Fei's body would be activated. Within the Night Valley, the glow of the curse mark on Long Fei's body did not attract any attention. There was only one person that no one noticed. Old Night King, who was originally on the brink of death, suddenly sat up from the bed, his eyes full of spirit and vitality staring at Long Fei. You dog. Die. The Old Man Huang roared. Without waiting for Long Fei to rush up the stage, he took the lead and rushed forward first, the ghost power in his hands pouncing towards Long Fei like 100,000 evil spirits. It was locked on all sides. When the Old Man Huang landed, the ghost power immediately rushed out, and all of the energy rushed towards Long Fei. The ghost power, right? I'll let you experience what a super force of Ming Clan is. With a flip of his left hand, the flames of the Netherresin Black Flame directly exploded, causing the entire cave of the Night Valley to instantly turn dark. The dark black flames on Long Fei's hand suppressed all of the light. The flames rushed out, tore apart the ghost power and smashed onto Old Man Huang's chest. At the same time, the ghost power was also wildly rushing towards Long Fei's body. Fart. Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body was once again flung out. Old Man Huang also retreated consecutively as his face became incomparably pale. A black ball of flame ignited on his chest as the space between his eyebrows sunk and the power within his body fiercely exploded. Buzz! A powerful venerable one's power surged out from the pubes, extinguishing the black flames on his chest. Long Fei was secretly surprised. It could burn Lian Wenchao to death, but it was destroyed by the power of the old man Huang. Seems like the damage from the netherworld black flame can't be that much higher than what it's capable of, and that's also because of the rank. Long Fei's heart tensed up. He had already used all of the techniques he could use. Aka's injuries were not enough. The Pikachu had not evolved at all. The beaten magic power was cold. The damage from the Gale Fist was insufficient. He was unable to continuously release the netherworld black flame in such a short period of time. Now, he didn't have any energy that he could use. Not only that, Long Fei still needed a hand to protect his chest, so the light of the curse mark below his chest continued to be released. It was just that. He did not think about the curse imprint on the god's tribe. Old man Huang's aura stabilized and his eyes became bloodshot. He looked at Long Fei and said, "I was wondering how a mere human like you could possess such powerful strength. So that's how. Ha ha ha. So that's how it is. To think that you would still." Not waiting for him to finish, the old man on the bed suddenly laughed excitedly. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. His laughter instantly covered the old man Huang's voice, so much so that no one heard what he said afterwards. Everyone from Night Valley clan was shocked. Night King? What? Why does it look like it's alive? His face was red, and he didn't look like he was going to die at all. Old man Huang's gaze also sank. If Night King did not die, then he would not be able to get the upper hand. However, he was sure that Night King would not live for long. After being struck by that purple ball of light, everyone other than Night King died. Moreover, he had examined the Night King's injuries, so it was impossible for them to survive. We're waiting. We're finally here. Ha ha ha. Red light flashed in Night King's eyes. His aura was rolling from head to toe, and before anyone could react, he suddenly made a grabbing motion with his hand. He retrieved the item through the air. In this instant, Long Fei's body was unable to control himself and was sucked in by an incomparably strong ball of energy. Bam! In a split second, it was sucked into Night King's hand. Long Fei's heart sank. Without waiting for Long Fei to worry, Night King said solemnly, "I have finally waited for you." Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, Yi Wang's power suddenly erupted, and a red light shot out. Soon after, countless of power directly entered Long Fei's body. Power of the Emperor. The inheritance of the Emperor. Style equals display. None GFBMMJD6 VTL SADIJNA Mr 7X plus CAJFRXMLDLWH. ZZY08Z5GISJL Pied DIGJFYQ9N6ALNTKPRNLIFSKMT6M4KHQW Junior A equals Old Man Huang roared, NO. Chapter 2831 It's your time to go on stage. Chapter 2831 It's your time to go on stage. No. When Old Man Huang saw the power from Old Night King's body continuously entering Long Fei's body, he nearly went berserk, as if he had gone berserk. He glared angrily with both eyes, as though his eyeballs were about to pop out from their sockets. Obviously, he was enraged to the extreme. The power from the Old Night King's body was transferred into Long Fei's body. What was this? Inheritance. Inheritance of the Emperor. The legacy of the Old Night King's lifetime worth of cultivation. Not just strength. Most importantly, the Night King's inheritance was not so angry just based on strength alone. The Night King's inheritance was the place where he was angry. Now, even if he won, he wouldn't be able to become the Night King. Because the Night King's legacy is already surging into Long Fei's body. Old Man Huang went crazy. The surrounding Night Valley clan people were also stunned. In their shock, they were stunned by what they saw. Why did he choose a human? What is the Old Night King doing? Why did you choose him? That doesn't make sense. Is he making a human a Night King? Then what did our Night Valley become? They all looked at each other, not knowing what was happening. The Yimai sisters also looked at their father, who was standing far away. They did not know why their father would suddenly do such a thing. It was completely against common sense. Tan De Pao's face was filled with excitement. "You're awesome, my brother, ha ha ha. Now, you must be completely dumbfounded." Although he did not know what had happened, he could tell from Old Man Huang's angry eyes that the person Old Night King had chosen was not Old Man Huang, but Long Fei. If one were to say that they were shocked and stupefied, Long Fei himself was the same. Being inexplicably sucked in, his body was completely out of his control, tightly sucked in by a skeletal hand. Furthermore, before he could even agree, a huge energy had already seeped into his body, and at this moment, Long Fei's instinctual subconsciousness resisted. It was because he was afraid that someone would take his body. However, resistance was useless, and the defense created by his body was destroyed in an instant. The difference in level was too great. Also at this time, the Old Night King used a voice that only Long Fei could hear, and said, "Brat, don't resist, don't struggle, don't do anything." When he spoke, he was somewhat out of breath. It was the kind of dying gasp. Long Fei was puzzled. "Senior, what are you trying to do?" The Old Night King smiled excitedly, and said, "I want you to become the king of our Night Valley clan, and lead us to live on in the universal realm." "King of Night Valley? Me?" Long Fei was startled, and asked, "Why? Why me? I'm not from your Night Valley clan." It was very strange. In Long Fei's heart, he still thought that this Old Night King must have been muddle-headed and chose the wrong person. After all, it was hard to say how sick he was. However, the blood in your body contains the blood of the Ming clan. You are the descendant of the Ming clan, and are also the successor of the ancient inheritance, so I did not choose wrong. I have been waiting my entire life for your return, Master Pluto. His voice was filled with excitement. If not for the fact that he was transferring power to Long Fei, Old Night King would have knelt down excitedly. Long Fei's eyes turned cold. "You can tell?" The Old Night King said, "You can't be wrong, our Night Valley clan is also a descendant of the Ming clan. The flame that was released from your palm just now is the power of the third stage of the ancient inheritance. Only Pluto has the power of the ancient inheritance, and you are definitely the reincarnation of Pluto. You will be the King of Darkness. I beg of you to lead us to the Night Valley clan." His face was filled with piety. Moreover, his tone was filled with pleading. What kind of tall existence was the King of Hell? Old Night King was so excited that tears almost flowed out. Long Fei was also slightly stunned. He knew that he was not the reincarnation of the King of Hell, nor was he anything else. He was Long Fei. Who would have thought that he actually thought of her as Pluto? This. Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, Old Night King pleaded again, "Your Majesty, Night Valley has been hiding in the darkness of western regions and has not seen the light of day all year. I believe that under your lead, the glory of Ming clan will definitely come once again. I, Night Valley clan, will once again become your subordinate." About that, Long Fei said in embarrassment, he wasn't the King of Hell at all. Old Night King said solemnly, "I beg of you. Although Night Valley clan is currently very weak, she will definitely become strong, and will definitely be able to help you. I beg you, bring them along, or else my Night Valley clan will not be able to survive for long in Universal Realm." Long Fei also did not hesitate anymore and nodded. "All right, I agree." Old Night King became even more excited and said, "Thank you, thank you." At this moment, Old Man Huang, who was extremely furious, exploded with power. Like a ball of black flames, his body instantly flew into the air and smashed down with his palm towards Old Night King's forehead. "You old bastard, how did you promise me that? The Night King's inheritance is mine, and your Empress power is mine as well. But now that you've given it to someone else, you should just go and die." Boom. A palm descended with incomparable strength. It directly hit the center of Old Night King's brows. Old Night King did not reveal any expression of pain. Instead, he looked at Long Fei with excitement and said, "From now on, he is the new king of Night Valley." Not waiting for him to finish, Old Man Huang's fury was completely stoked, and she once again smashed her palm down. "Old thing, go and die." Bam! 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 With a palm strike, he sent it flying. Old Night King's body also fell down. There was no pain, but his face was full of excitement. He had done what he had to do and said what he had to do. The Emperor's cultivation had already reached Long Fei's body. Night King's inheritance was the same. More importantly, Long Fei had promised him, "Father, father." The triplets' sisters rushed forward, not waiting for them to get close. Old Man Huang's gaze swept over them, and the venerable one's chi on his body exploded as he shouted, "Scram to the side." Buzz. The three sisters were directly sent flying by the powerful force. Old Man Huang grabbed with his 5 fingers, and directly grabbed the dying Old Night King. Raising him up to the air, he said sinisterly, "Old thing, you actually dare to lie to me? All right. I will let you know the consequences of lying to me." Ah! With the power of his 5 fingers, he stabbed them straight into Old Night King's head. Crack! Crack! The skull exploded. Style equals display. None GFBMMJD6 VTL SADIJNA Mr 7X plus CAJFRXMLDLWH. ZZW08Z5 JSJL Pied DIGJFYQ9N6ALNTKPRNLIFSKMT6M4KHQW Junior A equals The Old Night King was the same as before. He had no expression of pain, and even if he died in the end, he was still very calm. At the very last moment, he sent a voice to Long Fei with a hint of a smile on his lips. "It's your turn to go up." Chapter 2832 Instant Killer. Chapter 2832 Instant Killer. Absorbing the Emperor's cultivation required a certain amount of time. Night King's inheritance was the same. Moreover, Long Fei was different from normal warriors. What he needed to level up was not any energy, nor was it some powerful inheritance. What he needed to break through was experience points. Bringing a large amount of powerful energy into his body, he was unable to transform it into experience points at all. Even if he were to absorb it now, he wouldn't be able to become a king powerhouse. He was very troubled. How do we do this? System bro, give me a hint. Long Fei didn't know what to do. There were similar scenes in the movies, but they were all about imparting power and becoming stronger in an instant. What do I do? Very depressed. There was no way at all. Just when Long Fei couldn't think of a way to change the Emperor's cultivation to experience points, a voice came from behind the Old Night King. Long Fei's eyes darkened. He was using his death to help her. Even if he died, he wanted to grant Long Fei's wish. Because killing the Night King was a capital offense and unforgivable. If Old Man Huang could kill Old Man Huang in front of so many people, then no one would dare oppose Long Fei. This favor, Long Fei had no choice but to accept. But how was he going to get it? He did not even convert the Emperor's cultivation into a rank. He was not a match for the senior realm. However, all men have fire. Seeing Old Night King's head being grabbed and shattered in mid-air, Long Fei's anger exploded like a volcano. F***CK. I'm going to throw caution to the wind. In that instant, Long Fei looked down from above and suddenly dove down. The 3 sisters charged towards their father, disregarding everything else. Old Man Huang swept the area with his cold gaze and said sinisterly, "All of you, go die." Buzz. The aura emanating from his body became an incomparably strong pressure. Both of his hands grabbed forward, and the incomparably dense ghost power on his palms continuously compressed and revolved, forming a huge ball of ghost power energy. "Elder Huang, what are you trying to do? This is the Night King's palace. What are you trying to do? Kill Night King. Do you still want to destroy the Night King's palace? How dare you? Stop right now." Elder Huang, did you hear that? The Night Valley clan people were all furious. However, no one dared to go up because they were afraid of the incomparably strong ghost power in the Old Man Huang's hands. "You bunch of trash, once you see the Night King's inheritance to a trash of a human, no one can stop you. You don't deserve to be the Night Valley clan's people. No one here is worthy. Night King's Hall? Ha ha ha. I want this place to become ruins." It was savage like a madman. The 3 sisters were the first to rush over. They only wanted to take their father's body away, But Old Man Huang's gaze turned sinister as he shouted, 3 bitches. Boom. Bang. With a loud noise, 3 energies bound the 3 Yi My sisters and directly gripped their throats. The 3 of them were lifted into the air. Woo. Cough cough. Instantly, his face turned pale and his forelimbs twitched. Was simply restrained before it could even get close, and the power of the Old Man Huang was not simple. Quickly stop. Elder Huang, do you really want to rebel? Stop. A few elders shouted. Tan Depao's face was filled with displeasure. I only know how to say it. While they were talking, Tan Depao pulled the trigger, and 2 dense spirit-breaking curse energy cannons shot out. At the same time, Su Su glanced at Long Fei, took out a small bead from the space ring, and said loudly, Breaking Might Pearl, explode for me. Whoosh. A small bead exploded in the sky above the Old Man Huang. At this moment, the might he released was instantly shattered, as though a barrier had been broken. Long Fei's sea of consciousness slightly improved, as he rushed towards Old Man Huang at an even faster speed. The Old Man Huang looked coldly at Su Su, and then stared at the rushing Long Fei, and said coldly, Everything was because of you, you dog of a human, go and die. Buzz. The ghost power on his palm exploded. Roar. TSK TSK. All kinds of ghastly wails sounded out, and the ghost power was like a giant wave that flipped through the sky as it cleaved towards Long Fei, incomparably powerful. This power. Long Fei looked at his immortal transformation. Time had already passed. His current health point, with the help of the Spring of Life, recovered not even 10%. Facing such a huge palm, he couldn't withstand it. It would be instantly killed. But at this moment, Long Fei did not think of anything else, he just wanted to be tough. This was the chance Old Night King had given him with her life. I can't miss it. Long Fei gritted his teeth, MMP, power, power, give me strength. It didn't matter. Long Fei clenched his teeth, and released all the power he could muster from his body. He slammed his palms into it, releasing a furious roar. His long hair flew in the air. His clothes made an explosive sound. The entire Night King Hall, and even the entire Night King Valley, were shaking. Sand and rocks flew. It was hard for him to open his eyes. The 2 forces clashed into one another, which was bizarre. There was no explosion. There was only a muffled bang. The ghost power was instantly torn apart. Not far away, Old Man Huang's expression was lifeless, a strand of power. Carrying the power of the incomparably powerful Emperor's Qi, it heavily smashed onto his body. He did not have the time to react at all, and was directly sent flying. Bam! His entire body was caved in as he hung on the rock, and his internal organs were all shattered. Blood continued to drip from the corner of his mouth. Staring at Long Fei, her eyes were filled with puzzlement and disbelief. However, right now, even if he were to stare at it, it would be of no use, because the gash on his head had instantly dried up. Slowly. Bam! His body fell from the rocks and crashed to the ground. Dead. Long Fei was also dumbstruck. Looking at his own palm, he was certain that the energy that Black and White had not released just now was completely within his own body. Emperor, could it be the Imperial power? Only the Imperial power could instantly kill the senior realm. There was only one explanation. The power of the Emperor's inheritance of the Old Night King erupted just a moment ago. Ha ha ha. Long Fei was ecstatic, and secretly said, to think that it would be an instant kill. It's that simple, ha ha ha. The Imperial power is truly amazing. At that moment, Long Fei thought that he would die. But, no matter what, he would still send out that palm attack. He could not allow Old Night King to die for nothing. Furthermore, he couldn't let the triplets feel despair. He had to go up just now. He just hadn't thought that he would be instantly killed. Too handsome. It was also at this time that Long Fei looked at the corpse of the Old Man Huang in the distance. The corners of his mouth slightly curled up as he became secretly excited. Heh. Boss, it's going to die. System, let's have an unprecedented explosion. The system beep rang. Ding. Come. The system beep is ringing for me. Long Fei was a little excited. After all, this was the boss of the senior realm. The difference in levels was huge. They weren't bosses that he could kill with his current level, so they would definitely drop. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing the great clan elder of Night Valley for obtaining 100 million experience points, 1 million true spiritual value, and 1 universal value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ghost power. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Night Blade. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the soul-breaking halberd. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Night Spirit Pill. Ding. Congratulations player Long Fei for killing a special level boss and obtaining a special reward. Reward God, Any Road. Buzz. The system interface suddenly changed. There were a few drums on his back and a golden stick in his hand. This shape. Long Fei was too familiar with it. The god of the island inside the One Piece, Any Road. The controller of the Thunder Fruit. It could be said to be extremely powerful, and at the abnormal level. Could he be the same as Ake and Xiao Qian, and can summon them as well? Long Fei's heart tensed up. If one were to compare the power of a lightning fruit to what Any Road could think of obtaining, even 10 lightning fruits would not be comparable to one Any Road. He was too domineering. Person, Any Road loyalty, 1-star attribute, lightning damage, 9-star special attribute, teleportation kill. A series of descriptions by the system. Ha ha ha. The reward from the system will be great this time. Long Fei was extremely excited. Ake did not obtain Long Fei's void space and immediately returned to the system's dimension. Low loyalty means instability, Long Fei muttered. He had returned to the system space before the time of summoning even ended, which meant that he was not stable yet. However, the moment Ake returned to the system dimension, a system notification sounded out. Ding. System notification, Ake has leveled up. Ding. System notification, Ake buys an infinity sword. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for being a seed of the Hero Alliance. Heh. What's going on? Ake can still level up, which is true. The system didn't say that she couldn't level up, and with his help, she could also kill a few people. It was normal for her to level up as a character in the game, but she can even buy equipment. Damn it. Did he bring the shops in the game with him? Furthermore, he was able to equip his own equipment and buy the Infinity Sword all of a sudden. Is this the explosive output? Long Fei was dumbstruck. However, what shocked him even more was not the fact that Ake had leveled up and bought the equipment, but the Hero Alliance seeds. What is this? Looking at the system's description of the Hero Alliance seeds, Long Fei mumbled to himself, once the seeds are released, they can grow in the Hero Alliance game. When they grow to a certain degree, they can trigger a large-scale teleportation, and can summon over 100 heroes from the Hero Alliance game. When Long Fei saw this, he was dumbfounded. Summon all of you here. Over 100 heroes? I'll go. Is this the formation of the Hero Alliance army? This is F*King going to the heavens. Long Fei was stunned, completely dumbfounded. According to the system's description, as long as the Hero Alliance seed was planted, once it grew to a certain degree, all of the heroes in the game would be summoned. How much is this? This wasn't it. The beautiful Nai Xiaoqian. Could it be that he could also level up and obtain a seed? Would he also be able to take Yang Qixia, Monster He Shan? Forget about Ning Caichen, he had no fighting strength. Summon them? And the Any Road he just obtained? Then wouldn't he be able to summon all the characters from the One Piece? Gudong. Long Fei did not dare to think further, because he was almost unable to control himself. Damn, Universal Realm? God's Tribe? Ancient World? I want to cultivate my own power. Cultivate a ghost. With these games, the bosses in the anime can immediately mess up Universal Realm. However, this was just the beginning. This was the Grand Mist system. It had completely different attributes from the previous call card S. Now, even Long Fei couldn't help but praise the person that the system had set. This thinking, this consciousness is too awesome. It's exactly the same as what I imagined, ha ha ha. He couldn't help but become narcissistic. He had once thought about what it would be like if all sorts of powerful figures were brought to the same plane. The characters in the ancient legends of the earth were in a different world. Tathagata Buddha, Jade Emperor, Sun Wukong. These powerful people and the characters in the anime world, Ootsuchi Hagoromo, second-generation Fire Shadow, Ninetales, the great generals of the One Piece, the four emperors had all gathered together. And under his leadership, they were going to sweep across the entire universe. Ha ha ha. If it could really be like this, then it would be awesome, ha ha ha. Long Fei could not help but become excited, and according to his understanding of the system, it might actually be like this. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Elementalist level, 3. Obtaining 100 million special experiences from killing a old man Huang would allow Long Fei to break through in an instant. After leveling up, the injuries all over his body would instantly heal. It was also at this time. Tan De Pao muttered, "Brother Fei, why is it that expression again?" Susu said with a face full of infatuation, "So handsome, the man I like is indeed handsome, hey." The three twin sisters placed the old Night King's corpse down, then walked in front of Long Fei. At this moment, everyone looked at Long Fei. Everyone from Night Valley clan looked at Long Fei without saying a word. Their hearts were in chaos. Long Fei was a human, but now he had obtained the Night King's inheritance. It was also at this time. The three sisters suddenly knelt in front of Long Fei, "Greetings, Night King," as soon as he finished. The entire audience was so quiet that even a pin drop could be heard. Many of the Night Valley clan people looked at each other, then an elder stood up and knelt down, and said, "We pay our respects to Lord Night King." Next, many people from the Night Valley clan began to kneel down. Finally, all of the Night Valley clans kneeled down and said in unison, "We pay our respects to Night King, Night King, Night King, Night King." His voice was getting louder and louder. Although Long Fei was a human, he took revenge for the old man Huang. Moreover, he was the chosen one from the old Night King. After obtaining the Night King's inheritance, even if the people from the Night Valley clan didn't recognize him, they would at least admit it. Long Fei's gaze swept the area. Since he had already agreed, he did not refuse and said, "From today onwards, I will be the king of Night Valley. I will lead the people of the Night Valley clan to the peak, and stand at the top of this world. Night King, Night King, Night King." The crowd became even more excited. In another place. "Grandfather, the Night King Valley is right in front of us." Lian Wuchao laughed excitedly. Behind him, over 10,000 Lian family disciples had already surrounded the entire Night King Valley. "Tell me something." In the first chapter, chapter 2607, Tongshan was killed, but the next chapter resurrected because of Hai Yang's negligence, causing everyone to be unable to read. Hai Yang was extremely sorry, but there was no way to change it now, and Hai Yang apologized once again, "But I will try my best to avoid this kind of low-level mistake next time. At the same time, I also thank that reaction reader, and thank you for your sincerity." Table of contents, section error, click on this report, no registration. After reporting, the maintenance personnel will correct chapter content within 2 minutes. Please wait patiently, and refresh the page. Chapter 2834, The Same Three Sisters. Chapter 2834, The Same Three Sisters. Lian family did not notice that the army had surrounded them. Moreover, Night Valley clan people would always be in the underground palace during the day, and with the appearance of the new king of Night Valley, many of the Night Valley clan people would celebrate and relax their vigilance outside the valley. "I still can't control it. It feels very ethereal. Why is this happening?" Long Fei was troubled. He clearly had an imperial power in his body, but he just did not know how to control it. He tried a few times but was unable to release the imperial power. The moment he killed the old man Huang, he was lucky. However, it was too dangerous. Long Fei could not release this power every time he was on the verge of death. He had to learn how to grasp this power. Fire. Boom. A muffled sound was not released. Long Fei slightly retracted his aura, and once again, moved his entire body and mind, adjusting the strength in his body and exploding forth, Wang. The sound of air exploding was produced by the power of the general level. The imperial power did not erupt. It hurts. How exactly do I control this powerful force? Long Fei frowned as he opened the system to check. He wanted to find the answer from the system, but the system was not omnipotent, and it could not solve this problem. My lord. A soft voice came from outside. Long Fei withdrew his aura and said, "Come in." Yi Mai and the other two sisters entered the room and bowed respectfully. Big Sister said, "Thank you, Master, for avenging our father." "Thank you, my lord." The other two also said at the same time. Long Fei said, "This is what I should be doing." Looking at the exclamation mark that was still floating above their heads, Long Fei was surprised. "Oh yes, I still have a mission, but now that old man Huang is dead, I should be able to complete it, right?" It was rather strange. According to the mission set, if old man Huang died, the mission should be completed. However, the system had yet to notify him that the quest had been completed. Could it be because I have become a king of Night Valley? Long Fei's heart tightened. He looked at the three of them and said, "I am a human, I want to return to the human world in the future. I hope that the position of King of Night Valley will be." Long Fei wanted to see if he could trigger the completion of the mission. It was just that. Without waiting for him to finish, Big Sister immediately said, "You are someone Father has chosen. No matter where you are, no matter what race you are still our Lord Night King. You have the Night King's legacy with you. You are our Night King." The task did not complete triggering. Long Fei said, "Night King." This Night King was a little too weird, and if it wasn't for him killing the old man Huang in one move, even if he had Night King's legacy, it would be useless. In this world, only strength mattered. He could kill old man Huang in an instant and temporarily suppress the people of Night Valley clan, but what about in the future? Long Fei looked at the three of them and asked, "What rights does Night King have?" Big Sister said, "Night King is the emperor of the Night Valley clan. His words are orders, he can order all the people in the Night Valley clan to do anything." "Is that so?" Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Then the three of you should take off your veils." "Heh, heh." The three sisters were stunned. Big Sister looked at Long Fei and hesitated for a moment, then said, "As you command." "Big Sis." "Big Sister." The two little sisters looked at her. Long Fei really wanted to know their appearances, but he simply wanted to know, without any other intentions. Big Sister said with a slight smile, "Night King's words are orders, we must follow them." After saying that, she gently took off the black veil covering her face, revealing her true appearance. Her blue, crystalline eyes shone with an alluring light. Her cheeks were white, without a single blemish. She looked like an unforgettable existence. It had a kind of fresh and refined beauty. Her beauty was different from Lan Mai's, Su Su's, and Queen of Blood Moon's. It looked somewhat ordinary, but it was not to such an extent that it was breathtaking. But after elder sister took off her veil, the other two also took off their veils. The three of them were exactly the same. If one person could be said to only look beautiful, it was not at all breathtaking, but when the three of them stood together, it was even more unforgettable. Triplets. The same triplets. His looks, hair, and clothes could all be said to be exactly the same. Long Fei couldn't see any difference at all, at least he couldn't see through them. The other two were like shadows. Long Fei was dumbstruck. After looking at it a few times, he finally came back to reality and said in shock, "It's exactly the same." Completely captivated. "Take a good look." The youngest one pursed his lips. "Little sister, don't be unreasonable." The eldest young mistress scolded him. The younger sister said, "Big sis, does he not know what it means when we take off our veils? This means that we..." Without waiting for her to finish, elder sister glared at her, reprimanding her for saying more. "Then we won't disturb your rest any longer." The three sisters withdrew from the room. After leaving the room, the three girls immediately put on their veils. Big Sis stopped and said softly, "If even we do not respect the Lord Night King, then who else can? He is our benefactor. Mission reason, we cannot refuse anything." Big sister spoke with a heavy tone. The little sister muttered, "Young mistress, we have taken off our veils to a man and we are going to marry him. This is the oath we made to be his veils. We're all going to take off our veils to a man at the same time." "Are we all going to marry the same man?" The second brother said slightly, "Lord Night King is pretty good, being able to marry him is also not bad, at least we won't be separated. If Old Man Huang were to become the Night King, our fates would definitely be unimaginable." The three women were slightly surprised. Back then, because they looked too similar, even his father could not identify them, so he wore a veil. The moment they put on their veils, they also made a vow. In the future, they would only take off their veils towards the man they loved and prevent themselves from being mistaken. But now, the three of them took off their veils at the same time and faced the same person. According to the oath, they should be married to Long Fei. Of course, Long Fei did not know about all these. "I still haven't completed my mission. Is there something else I haven't done?" After the three sisters left, Long Fei stared at the system's S-level quest in a daze. There was only 1 day left, and it had already been half a day. He would be killed by the system. In other words, he still had half a life left. Holy *T. Thinking of this, Long Fei's heart went cold. Is there anything else? What else hadn't been done? Big brother system, the penalty for your quest must be a joke, right? It must be a joke. Long Fei was a little worried. At this moment, Su walked into the room. He was extremely excited as he said, "Big brother Long Fei, I found it." Long Fei was suspicious, and asked, "What did you find?" Su said, "I found that gigantic purple gold light, it's the largest one, hey. We're going to be on fire." Are you done laughing? Are you done laughing? Su had always wanted to prove himself. Prove yourself to everyone. Prove that I am not a vase, prove that I am useful, prove that I am not respected because of my powerful father. The last time he went out of the city to search for the strange ghost soul, was also to prove himself. It was just that. After returning, he was ridiculed by many people, laughed at by his classmates, laughed at by many people in the Donghuang College, and laughed at all those noble disciples. This time, purple gold fragments scattered across the entire universal realm. When she saw Han Wuya swallow the violet gold armor fragments and break through to become the emperor in an instant, she knew that this was the chance to prove herself once again. She wanted her father to see that she was useful. Hurry up. Hurry up. This time, our Ironhead battle team will definitely become the talk of the town. I want to see who dares to mock me. When I put this piece of violet gold armor in front of father, I'll see who dares to look down on me anymore, Su muttered with a face full of fantasy. It felt like he was about to reach the pinnacle of his life. Long Fei looked at her and gave a slight smile, saying, "Why give it to your father? Didn't you say that you could break through quickly after fusing with her? You can fuse them yourself. If you get stronger, who would dare laugh at you? No. It doesn't matter if I become stronger or not. I want father to become stronger," Su said seriously. "Big brother Long Fei, hurry up. Tan De Pao is waiting below, but Night Valley seems to be very strict with that purple gold light guard," Su said carefully. "Could it not be strict? After killing so many Night Valley clan cultivators, how could they not take that ball of purple gold light to heart in front of their enemies?" Dozens of violet gold armor fragments fell into the western regions. Other than the people in the East Imperial City who knew that it was the God's tribe's divine guard, the demons and monsters in the western regions did not. No one tried to fuse them either. "It's right in front. If it wasn't for the light it emitted, I wouldn't have been able to find it," Su said excitedly. Walked in. Tan De Pao also quickly walked up and said, "Brother Fei, you're finally here. This is incredible. This power. It's so strong that it explodes." Tan De Pao was also excited. Long Fei slightly sensed his surroundings, and his mind and sea of consciousness quickly began to shake. The energy aura emitted from the purple light abnormally surged, just like a raging ocean. What kind of power is it? The power of the God's tribe. But Long Fei thought about the envoys from the God's tribe. Their powers were not like this. nor were they that powerful. The envoy of the gods' tribe didn't even have the qualifications to carry the shoes of the violet gold godguard. Huff. Let's go take a look first. Long Fei faintly said. Don't go over there. Just as Long Fei was about to get closer, the 3 Yimai sisters and several elders from the Night Valley clan all hurriedly walked up. The 3 Yimai sisters were also very anxious as they said, Lord Night King, you can't go near it. It's a disaster, it's destruction, you can't go near it. Susu was not convinced. Why can't we go any closer? Anyone who comes close to it would not have a good ending. My father, the royal realm, was also approaching us because he wanted to know what was inside that thing that was instantly destroyed. It is not the violet gold armor you are talking about. Long Fei was startled, and asked, what is that? Big Sis said, it's one person. Long Fei, Tan De Pao, and Susu were all startled. It was obviously the violet gold armor. How could the violet gold armor be a single person? Since Lord Night King wants to investigate this matter, we can just let him go. Leaving such an item in our Night Valley's underground palace is also a hidden danger. It would be better to let the new Night King take care of it. A Night Valley clan elder said in a strange tone. Several elders immediately echoed his words. That's right. Lord Night King, old Night King was indeed injured by it. You should take your revenge, Lord Night King. You are the Night King of the Night Valley clan, you should get rid of it. The 3 sisters immediately said, no. The power in this place is too dangerous. Lord Night King, you can't go. My father once said that no one is allowed to get close to him. Absolutely not. And only the 3 of them were truly worried about Long Fei's comfort. The other Night Valley clan people wanted to see Long Fei become a joke. What are you 3 sisters worrying about? He is the new Night King, and he obtained the inheritance of the old Night King. He should help the people of the Night Valley clan share their worries, otherwise, he is not fit to be the Night King. You're right. If I were Night King, I would not hesitate to step forward. Lord Night King, this is your chance to show off. If you want to make more people believe you, then you have to show off some of your strength. Exactly. Go on. Hurry up and go. What are you waiting for? Many of the elders revealed looks of disdain. If Long Fei's single move did not scare them, how could a human become a king of Night Valley? MMP. I'll go. Tan De Pao was displeased when he saw these people. He walked up with large strides and said fiercely, I want to see what exactly is inside. Without waiting for Long Fei to stop it. Tan De Pao then walked forward with large strides. In a cave, the purple light continued to shine as Tan De Pao walked to the entrance of the cave. Long Fei said softly, be careful. Tan De Pao grinned and said, don't worry. Then he jumped down. You're courting death. You overestimate yourself. Ha ha ha. Humans are all brainless. Another vengeful spirit is about to appear in the underworld. Ha ha ha. Many people from Night Valley clan laughed at him. At this moment, not even 3 seconds had passed since Tan De Pao had jumped into the hole. Tan De Pao's body fiercely rushed out of the hole. Long Fei frowned, ghastly soldier, buzz. The air moved, and the ghost soldiers caught hold of Tan De Pao's body. But even so, Tan De Pao still heavily struck the wall. A mouthful of blood sprayed out. Long Fei quickly stepped forward and fed him a few heal pills. Tan De Pao revealed a pained expression, looked at Long Fei and said, it's people, they are not wrong, the purple gold light power wrapped around a person wearing a violet gold armor. Don't talk. Long Fei pressed his palm against Tan De Pao's chest, speeding up the melting process of the heal pill medicine. Tan De Pao's life had been saved. Yo. He actually didn't die. My life sure is tough. Ha ha ha. A few of the Night Valley elders ridiculed, and at this time, Long Fei suddenly turned his head around, his eyes fiercely staring, and a cold light burst out of them. The expression in the elders' eyes darkened, and for some reason, their hearts turned slightly cold, as if Long Fei's eyes were carrying a strong sense of pressure. Long Fei supported Tan De Pao to a safe place and coldly said, is it that funny? Is it interesting? The few of them fell silent. Long Fei looked at the purple gold light exploding out from inside the cave, and said solemnly, I do not care if you are a human or a ghost, you can't hurt my brother. In that instant, Long Fei heavily jumped, and directly jumped into the cave. Chapter 28:36 Azure Dragon Resurrection. Chapter 28:36 Azure Dragon Resurrection. Long Fei was very unhappy. If not for his identity as the king of Night Valley, he would have immediately slapped him a few times. How could he tolerate this? But he endured it. With a leap, he directly jumped into the deep hole. Long Fei jumped down, and a few elders started to mock him. There really is someone who doesn't care about their life. Humans are humans, I really don't know what's inside my head. Maybe it's shit and piss. Ooh. Ha ha ha. Many of the elders began to laugh out loud. Big Sister said with a heavy voice, "Have you all finished laughing? He is our Lord Night King, what do you think of him? He is the Night King, and he can order any one of you down, but has he done so? Yet you all are still here mocking and ridiculing us. What do you all think you are? Is this how we Night Valley clan are?" As soon as he finished, the few elders had ugly expressions on their faces. An old elder said slightly, "It's really because he's our Night King that he should sacrifice himself for the Night Valley clan. Otherwise, he wouldn't be worthy of being the Night King. And you? Your identity is no longer the daughter of the Night King. You are shouting and shouting at us elders. What is your identity? Do you know what respect means?" He scolded heavily. The little sister ruthlessly retaliated and even said straightforwardly, "Right now, we are the Night King's women. We are the Night Empress, is this status enough? You are merely a Night Race elder. Do you want to die by speaking to the Night Empress in such a manner?" She had a bad temper and couldn't allow anyone to bully her sister. "Night Empress? This, you. Why is there no news at all?" The little sister fiercely said, "Do I have to tell you that I slept with Night King? Could it be that I have to tell you guys about us taking off the veil for the Night King? Please show me some respect in the future." There was nothing to fear from being angry. Big Sister fiercely glared at her little sister. Susu stared dumbfoundedly at the three of them, and muttered, "He's so fast, I haven't slept with him for so long, and you guys only known each other for a day, yet he already went to bed. No way. I'll be the smallest later. I need to speed up too. When I get back, I want to go to his bed." Humph! Susu's hands were at his waist, his chest was trembling. Very unhappy. Night Empress identity had crushed all the Night Valley clan elders. In addition, since the fathers of the three Yimai sisters were from the old Night King, they still had some influence over their clan more or less. These elders who mocked Long Fei didn't dare to say anything more. At this moment, a Night Valley clan guard anxiously ran over and said, "Not good, elder, not good. What's going on? Could it be that a human has come in?" The guard breathed heavily and said, You are right. Humans have really fought their way in. They have already slaughtered their way into the underground palace. They can't hold on any longer." What? Everyone was shocked. Night Valley clan rarely set up defenses. This was because humans simply did not dare enter the inner regions of the Night Valley, and even more so, no one dared to enter the Night Valley's underground palace. "How many people are there?" An elder immediately asked. The guard said, "I am not too sure about that, but there are humans everywhere, and there are at least 8,000 people from the Lian family. Elder, please prepare for battle quickly." How preposterous. A mere Lian family dares to be so impudent in my Night Valley's territory. You're courting death. The few elders immediately became furious. The elder who had just been gobbled down by his little sister said coldly, "Three Night Emperors, all humans have charged into the underground palace. Is this the person that Night King brought in? Did he leak the news of old Night King's death?" Susu jumped on top of the old man and pointed at his nose. "What nonsense are you talking about? We have enmity with the Lian family, why would we bring them here?" Suddenly, Susu looked at the purple gold light and his heart trembled. "They must be here for the violet gold armor." Humph! The elder coldly snorted, "It's best if you aren't. If you are, then you won't be able to leave." Elder sister's forehead tightened, and said, "Night Valley clanspeople, listen up and inform the various tribes, Tell them to rush over and support us. The people of the underground palace will come with me to meet the enemy. The few elders looked at each other and followed him. Su looked at Tan Dapao and said, "You stay here and wait for Long Fei, I'll go take a look too." Ha ha ha. This is the Night Valley's underground palace? I never thought that the most ferocious Night Valley clan people every year would be trash like this. This year's midwinter, I'll let them die. The Lian family elders clamored. Tens of thousands of disciples rushed into the underground palace like tidewater. Adding the two elders from the senior realm to lead the way, it was as if they were entering a place devoid of people. Lian Wuchao looked at the continuously flickering purple light from the depths of the cave and said, "Grandfather, that ball of purple gold light is here as expected. He. Kill them all. Leave no one alive." The power of Lian Wuchao's celestial phenomenon ascendant was slaughtering everything in its path. Lian Kaijiang looked at the distant purple light and was extremely excited in his heart. Seeing the royal realm waving to him, Lian Kaijiang said, "Once I step into the royal realm, Lian family will instantly raise my power to the noble level. When I find the god's tribe's Cursemancer and get into a relationship with him, I will become the overlord of East Imperial City. Kill them all, don't let any of them escape." Crushing with all his might. As they advanced crazily, the other tribes of Night Valley clan could not even make it here in such a short time. The number of Night Valley clan guards in the underground palace was less than, and could not be stopped. In another place, faster. I never thought that Long Fei had guessed it right. We were tricked by that bandit. Damn it. Lung Feng and the other two immediately rushed to Night Valley. When the ghost soldiers informed them, they did not believe it. However, they believed it now, because a lot of people from the East Imperial City were rushing towards the Night Valley. "Lord Ghost King, we are not on the right path, do we still want to go? Not to mention that there are a lot of human experts gathered there. It's very dangerous." The Queen of Blood Moon didn't hesitate at all and said, "Send my order down. All 3,000 ghost generals of the Ghost Hole are to hurry to Night Valley, no mistake is allowed." "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." Queen of Blood Moon's body also slightly moved, directly turning into a bloody shadow and disappearing into the darkness. "Mayor, I just received news that young Miss is also in Night Valley, I'm afraid." Su Wantu's eyes darkened. The guard said, "It's that brat Long Fei again." Su Wantu's gaze tightened even more, and immediately said, "Pass down my order, hurry up and rush to Night Valley." "Yes, sir." Smell. The location of the Night Valley? In the dark forest, Han Wuya's forehead was filled with purple crystals and his entire body was releasing the scent of a ferocious beast. After smelling the scent, he also quickly rushed towards Night Valley. In the deep cave, Long Fei. Enveloped by the purple golden light, Long Fei's body felt like it was about to be torn apart. However, he wasn't sent flying out, and, at this moment, a voice suddenly came out from his space ring. "The commander of the gods' tribe. He. Delicious." Chapter 28-37 Azure Dragon Swallowing Corpses. Chapter 28-37 Azure Dragon Swallowing Corpses. Delicious. A deep voice came from nowhere. Long Fei's mind trembled, and immediately asked, "Who?" The voice came from his body, and he could also guarantee that it wasn't a black and white voice. Could it be that there was someone else in his body? The coffin. Long Fei immediately thought of the coffin. After all, the coffin was pulled by an azure dragon Holy Zoo, and when it was put into the space ring, it instantly broke the ring. What was in the coffin? Long Fei didn't know. The only thing he was sure of was that the coffin contained an extremely dangerous person. Was that voice from him? Heh. Kid, who I am isn't important. What's important is how does this commander of the Violet Gold God Guard in front of me divide the spoils? This time, Long Fei stopped very clearly. It came from his space ring. There were only two special items from his space ring, the two gods' tribe space ring. Either it was the sound coming out from the coffin or inside the space ring that had the Azure Dragon's corpse inside. Long Fei's idea moved slightly. He wanted to know who was speaking. However, without waiting for his idea to enter the center of the space ring, A loud roar came from inside the space ring. Roar. A roar. Dragon roar. An incomparably huge green shadow rushed out fiercely. It was not a real body, but an afterimage. The afterimage twined around Long Fei, forming a vortex. The dragon head faced downwards, two gigantic green dragon eyes staring at Long Fei. What a scene! It was incomparably shocking. His mind was about to be crushed. If an ordinary person were to see this scene, they would probably be scared to death. The scene before their eyes was too horrifying. The green dragon coiled around its body, and the dragon aura instantly crushed the powerful energy released by the purple-gold light. The green dragon ghosting S were like a gigantic protective barrier protecting Long Fei. Long Fei looked up and secretly clenched his fists. He was utterly shocked. One must know that when the Azure Dragon was in Zhenwu continent, he had already died in that tomb, so the dragon soul didn't know, at least his corpse was already dead. But now, he was alive. Resurrection after death. Long Fei's expression tightened. It was the exact scene of when the Azure Dragon was about to kill him. His heart turned slightly cold as he said, You're not dead." The Azure Dragon's eyes slightly moved as he said indifferently, "Why do I have to die? Dragons are the most powerful creatures on the surface. Do you think they can die that easily? Little kid, stop talking about this. Should this violet gold godguard be divided like this?" He was already drooling. He really wanted to swallow it in one bite. For the commander of the violet gold godguard, just the power of the ancient inheritance on his body alone was incomparably enticing. He only wanted to eat, so he did not mind the doubt in Long Fei's eyes too much. "He doesn't know me. Impossible, my appearance hasn't changed at all." "Then why?" "At that time. This guy clearly died, so it's impossible for him to revive. If he revives, the first one he wants to kill will be me." Why is his expression so calm, without killing intent, so unfamiliar? Long Fei was very suspicious. If it was according to the Azure Dragon in Zhenwu continent, there was no doubt that he would have swallowed himself whole. However, the feeling this green dragon gave Long Fei was that it did not recognize him. Why? Long Fei didn't know. However, Long Fei did not deliberately mention what had happened in the past either, and asked instead, "How do you want to split it?" The green dragon turned his body, staring at Violet Gold Godguard's corpse, and said, "I don't care, as long as there's something on him, it's fine. The power in his body is enough for me to digest it for a few months." He was not greedy. Just like a gluttonous foodie, it was fine if there was something to eat. Long Fei slightly said, "Then tell me just what power does he have?" "I know what I need." The green dragon said, "There are two types of power. One is the power of the ancient inheritance. As for what it is, I do not know. The other type of power is his cultivation strength, although he is already dead, but there are still many remaining in his body, and this power is also known as the power of the God's tribe. Also, he has a set of violet gold armor S on him. Although this armor is a little damaged, it's not bad overall. As long as we absorb the energy inside it, it can be used as a remedy. That's about it. Kid, you can choose whatever you want." He had a very casual look on his face. Long Fei did not choose immediately, because he was still not sure if this green dragon was the green dragon on the Zhenwu continent that wanted his life. Instead, he asked, "What do you need?" The green dragon said, "If it's me, of course it would be better if it was the power of the ancient inheritance. Violet Gold Godguard's commander, the power of the ancient inheritance he cultivates should be attack type, and with his lifespan, the power of the ancient inheritance should be cultivated to a high level. I can also use the power of the God's tribe." The power of the ancient inheritance was the strongest power in the universal realm, no other. Every single Tao was incomparably precious. The current rumbling world was firmly in the God's tribe's hands. Unless it was the ancient inheritance passed down from the ancestors, otherwise, all of the ancient inheritance's energy would be in the God's tribe's hands. This made the power of the ancient inheritance even more precious. Not to mention humans, even the universal realm's demon beast, the wild beasts all wanted it. The Azure Dragon did not hide anything and said it very clearly. Long Fei was still very careful in his heart, but he still did not make a choice. Instead, he asked. The Azure Dragon said slightly, "If you say it's suitable, then the stronger the power, the more suitable it is." "All right. Then I choose the power of the ancient inheritance." Long Fei made his choice. The Azure Dragon said, "No problem." It seemed like there were no arguments at all, and no objections either. Long Fei made his choice and he immediately agreed. The Green Dragon replied, "Then I want the God's tribe's power and his physical body. His physical body is also delicious, and as for the violet gold armor on his body, it's useless against me. I will help you remove the residual soul power inside it." Then, roar. With a roar, the Azure Dragon opened its bloody mouth and instantly swallowed the violet gold godguard's corpse. "Catcher, catcher," he started chewing. It was also at this time. The Green Dragon's voice resounded within Long Fei's mind, and said, "Kid, the power of the ancient inheritance is coming. It will take a little time, get ready." Long Fei said lightly, "Come." It was also at this time. Just as the Azure Dragon swallowed violet gold godguard's corpse, there was no longer any purple gold light that shot out from the deep hole. Lian Kaijiang's gaze tensed up. Lian Wuchao also suddenly landed, and said, "Grandfather, what happened? Why did the purple gold light disappear? Was it fused by someone?" Chapter 2838 Vajra Formation. Chapter 2838 Vajra Formation. No. No. No, no, no. Lian Kaijiang said again and again. He frowned at the space between his eyebrows and said gloomily, "If I wanted to fuse with it, I would have done so a long time ago. There is no need to get it now. Moreover, even if it has just been assimilated, it will still need a little bit of process. Even if I drain his blood and eat his flesh, the power within that purple gold light will still be mine." Lian Kaijiang almost went crazy. In his mind, he had already sketched out the beautiful future of the Lian family, and all of this was built on him breaking through the royal realm. It could not be destroyed. Absolutely not. Lian Kaijiang clenched his fists tightly. With a loud popping sound, the qi on his body started to surge frantically. Staring straight into the depths of Night Valley's underground palace, he bellowed out, "Kill!" As soon as he finished, he disappeared in an instant. In the next moment, he appeared in front of a group of Night Valley disciples. His hands formed claws as the power of the senior realm exploded. "All of you, die!" Bang, 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 bang. Dozens of Night Valley guards were sent flying. Their heart veins were shattered and they fell to the ground dead. It was also at this time. The Yi My sisters and the elders from the Night Valley clan all rushed over in unison. Seeing the heavy casualties among the Night Valley's guards, the elders were enraged as well. Several elders rushed forward as the mighty Night Valley clan erupted with power. "Even the Lian family's grand elder is here." Su Su was startled. He stepped forward quickly and said, "What do you want to do? This place has already been taken over by the Su family. Do you still want to forcefully steal your Lian family?" No matter what. Long Fei had already entered the deep hole. Whether he could fuse it or not, they had to buy him time. Moreover, the dead zone could not allow the God's tribe's power to fall into the hands of the Lian family's people. Just as the purple gold light disappeared, it was very likely that Long Fei had already succeeded, so they would not be able to find out where Long Fei was. Lian Wuchao's gaze tensed up, and he did not die. Where are the other two trash? Could it be? Did they fuse it? Lian Wuchao's heart sank. Both of Lian Kaijiang's hands struck out and knocked more than 10 Night Valley's guards flying. He landed heavily 5 meters away from Su Su, stared at him, and laughed coldly. "Did the Su family take over? Humph. Where are your Su family members? You want to bluff me with a little kid? Let alone a little girl like you. Even Su Wantu is useless in front of me." Lian Kaijiang said sinisterly, "Besides, with your attitude, you are colluding with the people of Night Valley clan. No wonder your Su family could become the city lord of East Imperial City. So that's how you came here. If this matter spreads to the East Imperial City, will your Su family still be able to establish a foothold in the East Imperial City? Colluding with demons and evil ways, anyone can be killed. A shitty bowl was taken off. Su Su's gaze tensed up. The older the better, Su Su was still too young. Moreover, after Lian Kaijiang finished speaking, many of the elders in the Night Valley clan also looked at Su Su strangely. It was because of her identity as a member of the Su family. It was someone from the City Lord's mansion. Every year, the City Lord Palace would organize an invasion to resist the Night Valley clan, and City Lord Su Wantu had even killed many people from the Night Valley clan. Night Valley clan hated the Su family to the bones. Right now, there was a Su clan member standing in front of them, and many people had cold gazes. People of the Su clan? What is your relationship with Su Wantu? Are you really from the Su clan? The few elders' gaze sharpened. Lian Wuchao laughed lightly. He is Su Wantu's only daughter. She entered the Night Valley to gather information for his father, and the Su family's main army is already rushing towards the Night Valley. In my opinion, it is just her who spread the news that your Night Valley clan's Night King has fallen. And let the Su family grasp this rare opportunity. Su Wantu is your Night Valley clan's greatest enemy. Su Su's expression sunk again as cold sweat seeped out of her palms. She originally wanted to use the Su family to suppress Lian family, but she had already forgotten where she was. On the contrary, he was ruthlessly bitten by the Lian family. Su Su said anxiously, "Nonsense, my Su family army isn't here yet. But your Lian family army only killed so many people because of the power of the Purple Gold God's tribe. If you come late, you would have already been merged by Big Brother Long Fei." The muscles in the corner of Lian Kaijiang's eyes fiercely twitched. Who is Long Fei? Get the hell out here. Lian Wuchao's eyes were also brimming with anger. Impossible, just with that piece of trash? Lian Kaijiang berated, and asked, who is Long Fei? Lian Wuchao said slightly, he's that trash who fought over women with little brother, and he's related to my feeling that he's related to little brother's death. It's extremely possible that he was the one who killed him. Long Fei? Lian Kaijiang squinted his eyes, and said sinisterly, who cares who you are, even if you turn into a ghost today, I will still eat you. Boom. His aura exploded forth. In an instant, the might of the senior realm pounced over like a huge wave. His figure also moved and was about to rush into the depths. The three Yimai sisters immediately shouted out, "Stop him, we can't let him disturb Night King." While they were talking, the three of them resisted the pressure and quickly went to meet it head-on. Although they were not happy with Long Fei and felt that Long Fei was not worthy to be their king of Night Valley, but he was now the Night King, and this was also the Night Valley clan's underground palace. Several elders instantly blocked as well. Die. Lian Kaijiang was already infuriated. He released all the energy in his body to its peak, taking a step forward. His right hand formed a claw, directly grabbing onto Big Sis' throat and smashing it onto the ground. Bam! Crack asterisk the ground split open, and Big Sister's body bounced up from the ground as Lian Kaijiang kicked her fiercely. Phut! Blood spurted out madly from his mouth as he crashed into the rock. His face was as pale as a sheet of paper. Sis, I'll kill you. The other two sisters had also pounced on him, but they were all sent flying by Lian Kaijiang's attack. His cultivation was too strong, the three sisters were no match for him. Moreover, the few clan elders were the same, they could not withstand Lian Kaijiang's one-man attack. It was quickly repelled. When Su Su saw this situation, he quickly cast healing on the three sisters. Immediately after, his eyes tensed up, and without caring about anything much, he took out an amulet-like item from his space ring, overflowing with spiritual light. Lian Kaijiang's gaze tensed up. Vajra formation, Su Su said. You are right, it is the King Kong formation. He channeled some strength into his hands into his true soul and thrust it into the ground. A beam of light instantly shot out. Lian Kaijiang crossed his arms in front of his chest as he rapidly retreated. Bang, bang, bang. Many of the Lian family disciples were sent flying. The Vajra pestle released a barrier, protecting the people of Night Valley clan inside. It was also at this time. The light from the Vajra scepter shot out in all directions from the hole. In the distance, Su Wantu's forehead tightened. Vajra formation? Sesame. Chapter 2840, Killing Sword. Chapter 2840, Killing Sword. I can't hold on any longer. There are too many people from the Lian family. We have to block even if we can't. Night King is still inside. We can't let them in. Kill. There were too many disciples in Lian family, so when the Lian family went all out this time, it could be said that he was determined to obtain the power of the Purple Gold God's tribe. Most of the disciples in the Night Valley were not in the underground palace. Even without Lian Kaijiang, the three sisters couldn't defend against him. The people of Night Valley clan continued to fall. The disciples of the Lian family continued to crush them. The Night Valley clan people had already been driven deep into the underground palace. Lian Wuchao laughed sinisterly. Night Valley clan, you're only SOSO, ha ha ha. Brothers, men kill all, women kidnap all. Legend has it that the Yimai clan of Night Valley clan are all beauties with the highest beauty in the nation, ha ha ha. While they were talking, one of the Night Valley clan's guards rushed forward, but was pushed down to the ground by Lian Wuchao with just one move, and stepped on him. The disciples of the Lian family became even more frenzied. Night Empress, you guys leave first. We old guys will stop them. Let's go. A few elders rushed out, blocking the way. Su wanted to help, but Lian Wuchao already had the intent to kill her, so even if she wanted to bring out the Su family, it would be useless. Why isn't he here yet? Big brother Long Fei, didn't you fuse with the power of the Purple Gold God's tribe? Why hasn't he appeared yet? Come on, we can't hold on any longer. He was so anxious that tears were flowing out. There was no escape within the underground palace. There was no escape at all. If they could not fight head-on, then it would not be long before all of the Night Valley clan's people would fall. Kid, what's the ancient inheritance on this Violet Gold Godguard? He is the commander of the Violet Gold Godguard, Sky Marshal, as well as one of the direct disciples of the Emperor Xian. His cultivation is unfathomable, and any place in the universal realm is considered an existence of an absolute hegemon, so the power of ancient inheritance given to him by the Emperor Xian should not be too weak. The Violet Gold Godguard, the highest bodyguard of the god's tribe. It was a symbol of the god's tribe. They were all personally trained by the Emperor Xian, and many of them were direct disciples of the Emperor Xian. The Violet Gold Godguard could be said to be the army that the Emperor Xian valued the most. The inheritance of the commander of this legion definitely wouldn't be too bad. And perhaps even one of the top 100 existences in the ancient inheritance. After the Azure Dragon had absorbed the cultivation strength of the Sky Marshal's body, he was sure that the ancient inheritance was very strong. Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, suddenly, an arrogant laughter sounded from outside the deep hole. Ah, ha, ha. It's mine, the power of the Purple Gold God's tribe is mine, ha ha ha. A shadow flashed. It instantly descended into the deep tunnel. Tan De Pao immediately shouted out, Brother Fei, dangerous. Lian Kaijiang raised his eyes, with a wave of his right hand, a burst of energy directly rushed at Tan De Pao, causing him to fly out. He didn't even spare a second glance. Tan De Pao crawled up from the ground, his heart tightened. This power, this cultivation level. I can't block it. He didn't know how many times stronger Lian Wuchao had become, and it was definitely not the god's elephant state, and it was even stronger than the realm of the Great Sage Realm. Tan De Pao's expression tensed up, and shouted once more, Brother Fei. Humph. No matter how loud you shout, it's useless. Lian Kaijiang looked at the hole coldly and said softly, I smell it, I smell a powerful aura. He took a deep breath. His face was flushed and filled with excitement. What a strong power. It's too thick. Ha ha ha. It's mine. Then, his body suddenly moved and he jumped down. Tan De Pao's heart sank. It's over. The purple gold light contained a powerful force. He was flung out the moment he jumped in. What was Long Fei doing down there? Even after fusing, it would take time to digest. When Lian Kaijiang appeared at this time, he was basically not his match. Just when Tan De Pao wanted to shout again. Deep inside the cave, a figure slowly retreated, both hands raised. Carefully, step by step, it was as if he was surrendering. This. Tan De Pao was startled. Isn't this Lian Kaijiang who just rushed into the cave? Why did you leave now? Very strange. Just a few seconds ago, he had been rushing in with incomparable brutality. But now, in just a few seconds, he had raised both his hands and retreated, his body faintly trembling. What was going on? I don't understand. It had to be known that Lian Kaijiang was a powerhouse of the senior realm. In the entire western regions, other than the royal realm, no one was his match. Now they had to surrender and retreat. What had happened? From the depths of the cave, a voice could be heard, laugh, and King laugh for your father. Why aren't you laughing? Aren't you very awesome? Long Fei's voice. Tan De Pao was immediately overjoyed. Brother Fei. Could it be that it has completely fused with the power of the God's tribe? Instantly break through the city royal realm? Wow. This is too awesome. Ha ha ha. Old fellow, you're acting cocky now. Tan De Pao was also excited. He did not pay any more attention to Lian Kaijiang as he slowly walked out of the deep hole. Huh. There wasn't much change to the aura on Long Fei's body. It was still the aura of the general level. Tan De Pao was a little confused. It's still the general level. How can it crush powerhouse of the supreme realm? There's no reason. Long Fei's face was calm and unperturbed. There was a trace of a smile on his lips. General level crushed senior realm? This is too impossible, right? Tan De Pao muttered, and turned to look at Lian Kaijiang, who was already out of the cave. Seeing the space between his eyebrows, his expression changed suddenly, and his eyes lit up. What is that? All he saw was a small flying sword about the length of 2 fingers. It was entirely purple. The blade was glowing. Very extraordinary. At this moment, the flying sword was floating right at the center of Lian Kaijiang's brows, as though the moment the idea moved, the flying sword would pierce through Lian Kaijiang's head. This scene was simply too astonishing. Tan De Pao looked at Long Fei and asked, Brother Fei, what is this flying sword? Long Fei smiled slightly and said, It's a good thing. Tan De Pao said, Good stuff? Then it must have a name, right? Name? Long Fei never thought about its name, but after hearing what Tan De Pao said, his mouth hooked up as he said excitedly, It's called Killing Sword. Killing Sword. Tan De Pao was startled. Lian Kaijiang stared at the flying sword between his brows. No matter how he tried to dodge, no matter how much he tried to defend, the force from his body was useless. It seemed like a small purple sword, but there was nothing special about it. However, Lian Kaijiang was completely suppressed by the qi on the small sword. His mind, his sea of consciousness was completely suppressed. Moreover, he had a feeling that this flying sword could kill him. Table of Contents. Table of Contents. Little brother, let's talk properly. Lian Kaijiang slightly trembled, his voice stuck in his throat. The purple flying sword had pierced his forehead, making it hard for him to even speak. Also at the same time as he was speaking, Lian Kaijiang secretly channeled his energy. Long Fei was merely a general level. As long as he was given a second, he could crush Long Fei's head to pieces. He needed a sliver of a chance. Speak your ass. Damn it, I was almost killed by you. Now you have something to say? Say your 8 ancestors. Tan De Pao endured the pain, but he did not care about it. He stepped forward and viciously kicked Lian Kaijiang in the abdomen. In the beginning, he wasn't a match for the other party. After being sent flying, he didn't have a temper. But now, being stomped by Long Fei, Tan De Pao would not care so much. Lian Kaijiang did not fall to the ground. He was still channeling his energy, still looking for an opportunity, but even if he was deliberately kicked by Tan De Pao to the ground, the flying sword still remained motionless at the center of his brows. Was not satisfied with one kick. Seeing Lian Kaijiang on the ground, he went up and kicked him hard. Speak properly. Come, speak properly with your father. Shouldn't we have a good talk? Get up. CKU. Your elder was almost killed by one of your moves just now. Now you want to say it properly. Bang, bang, bang. A series of explosive kicks. It felt great. It had to be known that Lian Kaijiang was the powerhouse of the senior realm. Tan De Pao was just a warrior realm. Lian Kaijiang had always been looking for an opportunity, but not at all. completely suppressed. He couldn't move at all. In his heart, he was also extremely infuriated. With a deep voice, he said, "Have you kicked enough? Don't be too presumptuous." Hearing his words, Tan Dapao became even angrier. "This old man is too presumptuous. What can I do? I'm not satisfied, and I'll give it a shot." While they were talking, Tan Dapao gave another series of ruthless explosive kicks. He vented his anger fiercely. Through the system, every time Tan Dapao kicked the top of Lian Kaijiang's head, a string of numbers would float up. It couldn't cause any damage at all. However, Tan Dapao was satisfied with his kick. With Long Fei's suppression on Lian Kaijiang, Tan Dapao would act fearlessly. Although he had been injured to Lian Kaijiang, his entire body was covered with filth. His face, hair, all of them were covered with filth. He was in a very sorry state. Long Fei also said softly, and said, "Cannon, good, time to get back to business." Tan Dapao stared at Lian Kaijiang and shouted, "I'll let you go for now, old fellow, so what if I'm strong?" Yet they were still crushed. Tan Dapao walked to Long Fei's side and whispered, "Brother Fei, it's too good." The excitement was palpable. Never. In his previous world, he had also been able to defeat his opponent who was a level higher than him, but he had never crossed so many realms at once. Ants swallowing elephants. Lian Kaijiang was in a sorry state. The killing intent in his eyes was extremely cold. He crawled up from the ground and stared at Long Fei. "Remember what you guys did?" Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "Don't worry, I remember." "You dare to be so King arrogant?" Tan Dapao said fiercely. "Brother Fei, don't waste words with him, just kill him immediately." Lian Kaijiang trembled slightly. Long Fei smirked and said, "It's not time yet." The idea moved. The flying sword advanced even further, almost touching the flesh between Lian Kaijiang's eyebrows. Lian Kaijiang's body secretly trembled, and he immediately said, "Kill me, you can't leave, this place is already controlled by my Lian family." Tan Dapao's face changed. Long Fei slightly said, "If it wasn't for this, do you think you would still be standing and talking to me? Let's go. Order your Lian family people to leave." This was the reason why Long Fei did not kill Lian Kaijiang. Moreover, this flying sword. It was the power of the ancient inheritance that was the commander of the Violet Gold God Goddess. Although it was not at the peak of its power, it had already been nurtured by the Heaven Martial Spirit to the Mahayana realm. However, there was one thing that could not be continuously controlled with Long Fei's current level. It could not be controlled indefinitely. With his current cultivation level, his body could only be used once, and the flying sword was formed from the power of the ancient inheritance, which required him to continuously fuse with other metal materials in order to strengthen it. If there was an accident, or if he was just a little bit careless, it would be destroyed, which was fatal for the flying sword. Long Fei had to carefully use it. Lian Kaijiang rolled his eyes and walked out. He did not stop looking for opportunities. Fleeing. Run again. Ha ha ha. So what if she was the daughter of the mayor? So what if you're an elder of a night valley? I will die here today, ha ha ha. Lian Wuchao laughed complacently. The Lian family disciples had already trapped Su Su, the 3 Yimai sisters and a few severely injured elders in a corner, and now they couldn't escape even if they had wings. Every one of them was injured, and there was no way they could escape. Su Su endured the pain on his body and said, "Lian Wuchao, if you dare to touch anyone here, I will definitely let father destroy your Lian family. You should know the strength of our Su clan very well." Su Su moved out of the Su family. Lian Wuchao laughed coldly, and said, "Oh, the Su family of the City Lord's mansion, I am so afraid." Su Wantu, the #1 expert of the East Imperial City, "I am so afraid, the largest family of the Su family's East Imperial City, destroying anyone is not a simple matter." But suddenly, Lian Wuchao's figure moved. Pa! A resounding slap. On the side of Su Su's face, a 5-fingered mark appeared as blood flowed out of the corner of his mouth. Lian Wuchao returned to his original position and said disdainfully, "Young Miss Su, this is outside the city. No matter how strong your Su family is, you can't stop this place. Your Su clan is so strong, call your Su clan members over." You're using the Su clan to scare me? Fuck. Do you think I, Lian Wuchao, am scared? Both of her eyes were sinister, staring straight at Su Su. Looking at her angry eyes, she laughed with interest. I can let you go, but be my woman, since your father only has one daughter. After you become my woman, the Su family will be mine. What about it? Don't worry, I'll take good care of you. It won't be as abnormal as my little brother's. At most, I'll just tie a dog chain around your neck. Ha ha ha. Su Su said angrily. Lian Wuchao, you are shameless. Ha ha ha. Lian Wuchao laughed out loud. I have something even more shameless to say. Wait for me to expand your stomach. It doesn't matter if your Su family agrees or not. Men, hold her down for me. I'm going to perform on the spot. After which, Lian Wuchao walked forward. It was also at this time. A voice came from the distance. Bastard, kneel down. Chapter 2842 Lian Wuchao is forced to the point of going crazy. Chapter 2842 Lian Wuchao is forced to the point of going crazy. As soon as he finished speaking, all the Lian family disciples were stunned. This voice was too familiar. It was none other than the ancestor of the Lian family, the #1 powerhouse, Lian Kaijiang. The crowd quickly parted to make way for him. Lian Wuchao was also startled. He turned his head and looked over, and when he saw Lian Kaijiang coming over, his expression became joyous as he said, "Grandfather, you." Without waiting for Lian Wuchao to finish speaking, Lian Kaijiang shouted once again, "Did you not hear what I said? I told you to kneel down for Miss Su, you beast." If they hadn't heard it clearly just now, all of the Lian family disciples could hear it clearly now. Lian Wuchao was a little puzzled. "Grandfather, what's wrong? Why do you want me to kneel down? What kind of thing is she, and what right do you have to make me kneel down to her? Even if her father, Su Wantu, were to kneel in front of me, he would not be qualified to make me kneel. Who is he? A super genius who was born with a magical Kailin blood. The proud son of the heavens of the Donghuang College was chosen by many great coaches. Even the dean had taken a liking to it. His identity also did not need to kneel to anyone in East Imperial City. However, Lian Kaijiang's eyes became angry as he said with incomparable fury, "Kneel, do I have to say it again?" His eyes seemed as if they were about to spit fire. Lian Wuchao clenched both his fists. He did not know why, but he could not understand why. With his talent, he had never knelt down before anyone in East Imperial City, not even when he first entered the Donghuang College. But now, he was kneeling down in front of a woman. He was unhappy. He was extremely unhappy. But facing his grandfather, the ancestor of Lian family, he could only feel discontent in his heart, and slowly kneel towards Su Su. Plop. Kneel on the ground. His complexion turned incomparably awful, as though he had been slapped in the face. Su Su, Yi Mai, the three sisters, and the people from Night Valley clan were also stunned. What was going on? Right at the moment when Lian Wuchao kneeled down, Lian Kaijiang said in a heavy voice, "Kowtow, apologize." "You want him to kneel, you want him to kowtow? And apologize?" Lian Wuchao's expression changed. He looked like he was about to eat someone, and his eyeballs were about to pop out. "Grandfather, what's wrong? Did you take the wrong medicine? Grandmaster, what happened?" "That's right. Has the power of the purple gold gods tribe been fused yet? Did something happen?" "Grandmaster, he's your grandson." A few of the Lian family elders also started to talk. In the past, Lian Kaijiang would definitely not do such a thing, let alone his own grandson. Even if it were someone from the Lian family, he would never let them kneel down, much less kowtow and apologize. Lian family still had a certain level of strength in the East Imperial City. However, Lian Kaijiang did not give any explanation, but still said with a heavy voice, "I told you to kowtow, apologize, immediately, now." Anger raged in his eyes as well. A rage that was even fiercer than the one in Lian Wuchao's eyes. The aura emitted from his body was also like flames, exceptionally threatening. Was he angry at Lian Wuchao? No. He was furious at himself, at Long Fei who was hiding behind him, and at the flying sword that was nearing the back of his head. The flying sword had already pierced through his scalp and blood was dripping down. The moment Long Fei moved, he would explode his head in an instant. He was angry because of this. Killing intent roiled in his heart. From the deep hole to here, he had sworn to himself more than once that he would tear Long Fei into pieces the moment he found the chance. He wanted his soul to never reincarnate. But now, there was nothing he could do. Kowtow, apologize, Lian Kaijiang said again. Lian Wuchao's teeth were about to shatter and his joints made explosive sounds. He bellowed loudly and heavily knocked on the ground. I'm sorry. How was this an apology? It was as if he wanted to eat someone. However, Lian Kaijiang shouted again. Ah! Lian Wuchao let out a furious roar. On the edge of going berserk, he once again heavily knocked it down. If Lian Kaijiang wasn't his grandfather, Lian Wuchao would have went up to kill him. Never knelt to anyone. Not to mention a woman. This was a humiliation. A lifetime's shame. Again. Bam. Again. After kowtowing 9 times in a row, he didn't know if Lian Wuchao was too angry or not. He coughed out a huge bump on his forehead, and fresh blood flowed down from the center of his brows. Su Su, who was in front of him, was completely dumbfounded. What was going on? The Night Valley clan people were also shocked. Do humans like to play this kind of game? F***ck me. Wasn't this too ruthless? Just as the surroundings quieted down, someone couldn't hold it in anymore. Poochie. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. This is too great, too F***king great. I really can't hold it in any longer. Tan De Pao could not hold it in anymore and laughed maniacally, laughing until he fell backwards and forwards. This is too fun. Ha ha ha. Kirin genius. A first-rate family. Ha ha ha. This kowtowing truly is awesome. Tan De Pao laughed unrestrainedly. Lian Wuchao's eyes darkened, the muscles at the corner of his eyes twitched, his killing intent soared, his body twitching slightly. Laugh? I want you to die. Tan De Pao was not afraid in the slightest as he said in a disdainful voice, You want me to die? Come on, I'll stand right here. If you can even touch a single hair on my head, then I'll lose. Lian Wuchao moved, and was about to go up and take Tan De Pao's head off. No one dared to laugh at him. He would not allow anyone who laughed at him to live in this world. However, without waiting for him to get up, Lian Kaijiang shouted once again, Kneel and don't move. Lian Wuchao's expression darkened again. Tan De Pao laughed complacently, and said, Little bastard, did you see that? You want to kill me by making you kneel down and not move? Try moving one of them. Lian Wuchao was about to go crazy, the compressed anger in his heart was about to collapse. Su Su immediately asked, Tan De Pao, where's big brother Long Fei? Lian Wuchao also asked with a sunken voice, Grandfather, just why is it? Are you getting old? He couldn't help it. Lian Kaijiang's eyes trembled, he glanced behind him, then slowly walked out, lightly smiled, and said, Sorry for making everyone wait so long. Seeing Long Fei walk out from behind Lian Kaijiang, Lian Wuchao suddenly stood up, the killing intent in his eyes became even stronger, and he said, It's you, trash. Trash. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up, and in the blink of an eye, he looked at Lian Kaijiang and said, Your grandson called me a trash, what should I do? Kai. The scalp was broken again. The flying sword was already pierced through. Lian Kaijiang's face suddenly turned pale white, he immediately stared at Lian Wuchao and said, You scoundrel, you actually dared to scold Master Long Fei, slap my face. Lian Wuchao was surprised for a moment, and said, Grandfather, he's just a piece of trash from the lower realms, what need is there to be afraid of him? I could make him kneel on the ground and turn him into a dead dog with one hand. Lian Kaijiang shouted, Slap me. Did you hear that? Slap. Do you not want to live anymore? His expression was abnormally malevolent, and his body was shaking non-stop. The pain from the back of his head made him extremely afraid. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, Did you hear that? Slap yourself until I'm satisfied. Lian Kaijiang shouted, Attack. Lian Wuchao's eyes darkened, he stared straight at Long Fei, and said sinisterly, Die. Kirin's illusion. The strength of the blood vein burst forth. Lian Wuchao's speed was so fast that it could make one's hair stand on end. The power of the heavenly elephant exploded forth as it slashed towards the center of Long Fei's brows with a palm strike. Chapter 2843, The Old Qilin and the Little Qilin's Confrontation. Chapter 2843, The Old Qilin and the Little Qilin's Confrontation. He couldn't help it. He couldn't hold it in at all. Lian Wuchao couldn't help but feel infuriated. He had never felt such humiliation before. Anger exploded. He had already entered a berserk state. No matter what, the power of the god's elephant state exploded out, directly striking towards Long Fei. Full power. He had to kill Long Fei. With a gust of wind, Lian Wuchao's figure suddenly disappeared. Brother Fei, be careful, Tan Depao's pupils contracted. He wanted to block it, but he didn't even know where Lian Wuchao's figure was. They were on completely different levels. Big brother Long Fei, be careful, Susu also shouted loudly in his eyes. Lord Night King, Yi Mai and the other two sisters also cried out in alarm. It was too fast. It was so fast that there was no time to react. He's dead for sure. Forcing eldest young master to such a state, his courting death. Bullying our Lian family? There is no one in the East Imperial City who is still alive. Kid, let's see how strong your head is. The disciples of the Lian family all revealed smiles. Long Fei would definitely not be able to block this attack. After all, he was just a general level. Night Valley clan's heart sank. No matter what, Long Fei was their Night King. In this kind of situation, it was impossible for him to escape, and Long Fei was just standing there without moving. This further proved the difference in strength between him and Lian Wuchao. He was not a match at all. The difference in levels was simply too great. The general level and the god's elephant state were both more than 20 levels old. He couldn't even keep up with her reaction. Go to hell. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Lian Wuchao laughed wildly in a sinister manner. Seeing Long Fei standing in place without moving, the aura on his body was released even more unrestrainedly. With this palm, he wanted to kill with a single strike. They would definitely not let Long Fei have another chance to live. Indeed. Long Fei stood in place without moving, the corners of his mouth hooked up as he sneered, and spat out two words, idiot. His cultivation was not a match for Lian Wuchao. He couldn't keep up with her reaction. With the level gap, he couldn't be a match. However, he has Lian Kaijiang. The instant Lian Wuchao's figure disappeared, Long Fei said to Lian Kaijiang with a faint voice. If I die, you'll also die instantly. You don't want to see me die, do you? Heh. On the surface, Long Fei did not seem to be worried, but he had secretly made preparations. The idea was tightly connected to Ache, and he had already released the Dragon God transformation. Even if Lian Kaijiang didn't block, he still had enough strength to protect himself. However, based on his understanding of Lian Kaijiang, this kind of old fellow who had lived for several hundred years, they were very afraid of death, very afraid of death. The killing sword had already reached his skull. The moment Long Fei's idea moved, the flying sword would immediately explode his head. Other than wanting Lian Kaijiang to help him, Long Fei also wanted to know one more thing. Was the little Qilin, blood vein, on Lian Wuchao's body stronger, or was the old Qilin, blood vein? One had to know that he needed the holy vein to help Lan Mai break through the shackles of his veins. Qilin illusion. Myriad palm fusion. Trash. Go to hell. Buzz. Bang, bang, bang. The Qilin image on Lian Wuchao's body fiercely exploded, causing countless handprints to explode around his body, continuously superimposing and merging together. In the blink of an eye, the surrounding space exploded with sound. It overlapped to form a giant palm print. A Qilin rushed out of the palm print with incomparable savagery. Long Fei still did not move and maintained a calm expression on his face, but his palms were drenched in cold sweat. Fuck, the power of the god's elephant state is truly terrifying. The idea moved. The flying sword moved another half-inch before stopping at the back of Lian Kaijiang's head. Lian Kaijiang was infuriated. The anger in his heart was even stronger than Lian Wuchao's fury, and he was also on the verge of going berserk. His hatred for Long Fei was 10,000 times stronger than trying to kill Long Fei. But when the flying sword pierced into his skull, his life was in Long Fei's hands. Recently, he had been wanting to find out the power of the flying sword, but he had no idea that this was completely beyond his understanding. More importantly, he believed that the moment Long Fei struck, his head would explode. No, I can't die. I don't want to die. The corners of Lian Kaijiang's eyes turned sinister. Seeing the power of Lian Wuchao's myriad palm fusion pouncing towards him, he clenched his fists tightly and shouted, "Wuer, retreat." As soon as he finished, Lian Kaijiang also roared angrily. Boom! It was an incomparably ferocious Qilin shadow with green scales all over its body. It could be called an illusion, but it seemed more like a living creature that superimposed itself on his body. The Qilin roared. The pressure of 10,000 holy vein suddenly moved. Qilin illusion. Myriad palms converge into one. Buzz. It seemed like he did not need any time to circulate his strength, and his speed was much faster than Lian Wuchao's. This was also because of the difference in strength, which was the difference in cultivation time. The two forces competed. The myriad palms convergence that Lian Wuchao released was like that of a 3-year-old child. It was not enough. The moment the two palms collided, the force behind Lian Wuchao's palms instantly shattered and a huge palm imprint pounced toward Lian Wuchao at a terrifying speed, forcing him to continuously retreat. He was in an extremely sorry state. Lian Wuchao was even more unhappy. With a sinister look in his eyes, he directly scolded, "Grandfather, have you gone mad from age? Ah! Are you crazy?" Many Lian family disciples looked at Lian Kaijiang as well. They too felt indignant in their hearts. Lian Wuchao was his most beloved grandson and the most talented person in the Lian family. How could he do such a thing? If anything were to happen to Lian Wuchao, then Lian family's hopes would be dashed. Lian Kaijiang did not explain. The fury in his heart had even caused the aura he was releasing from his entire body to become exceptionally cold. When he turned around, Lian Wuchao saw that the flying sword on the back of Lian Kaijiang's head had pierced his hair and blood was dripping from it. The space between his eyebrows tightened. "Grandfather, what is that flying sword behind your head?" Many of the Lian family disciples were also shocked. Lian Kaijiang said in a heavy voice, "Disciples of the Lian family, listen up. All of you, withdraw from the Night Valley's underground palace." Lian Wuchao was startled. He immediately thought about the matter of the purple gold god's tribe's power disappearing not long ago. His pupils moved. He integrated with the purple gold god's tribe's power. Cluck, cluck. He clenched his fists tightly, feeling extremely displeased in his heart. Long Fei's mouth hooked up as he laughed lightly. "You're very smart, to actually be able to see through it, all of it." His voice changed as he said in a low voice, "Then why aren't you leaving now? Do you want to kneel here and kowtow a few more times?" Lian Wuchao glared at him, the killing intent in his eyes soaring to the skies. Lian Kaijiang shouted again, "Retreat," stared at Long Fei and said, "I will definitely kill you, I definitely will." Long Fei didn't pay any attention to him. Right now, he was thinking of a question: is the old Qilin blood vein better? Is the little Qilin's blood vein better? Old Kailin. After all, his level is high and his experience is also high. Maybe some good items will drop from him, hehe. Chapter 2844, Stealing Monsters with Me? It doesn't exist. Chapter 2844, Stealing Monsters with Me? It doesn't exist. Although he was unwilling, Lian Kaijiang still held the position of absolute overlord in the Lian family. Even if it was just an arrogant Lian Wuchao, he was still 70% afraid, and didn't dare to disobey his grandfather's orders. The Lian family disciples quickly retreated. The Night Valley clan let out a long breath. Finally, he was able to save his life. Yi Mai and the two sisters looked at Long Fei, their hearts filled with gratitude. If not for Long Fei, their Night Valley clan would probably have been annihilated today. Even if the clan wasn't exterminated, they would still suffer heavy injuries. A few of the Night Valley clan elders were also grateful to Long Fei. Su Su looked at Long Fei, his face once again filled with infatuation, and muttered, "So handsome, I have to hurry up and get him to sleep, if not who knows where my seat would go. Brother Fei is mighty, Brother Fei is domineering." Just like that, a first-tier clan was trampled on. This is 2F** King Cool Tan De Pao followed behind Long Fei with a face full of smugness. Looking at the flying sword at the back of Lian Kaijiang's head, he said, "Brother Fei, is that the power of the purple gold gods tribe you fused with? So fierce, he." Long Fei smiled slightly, but did not explain. Killing sword, also known as flying immortal sword. After the green dragon separated the energy in violet gold godguard's body from Tian Wu's, he succeeded in fusing them together. The power of the ancient inheritance was like a flying sword which immediately drilled into his pubes after he succeeded. At first, Long Fei had thought that it wasn't an inheritance of ancient power, but a spiritual treasure. But not now. Its strength and super force of Ming Clan's aura were somewhat similar. The most important thing was, Long Fei trained in the super force of Ming Clan, which all belonged to the primary realm, so it could not release that kind of powerful energy, but this flying sword was different. After his fusion came the Mahayana realm. The sky martial art had been nurtured using all sorts of expensive metal materials for all these years. In addition to the location of the God's Tribe Palace, it was the densest place in the entire universal realm, and it had been growing for many years. The power it contained was too strong. The idea moved. It was released and instantly suppressed by the supreme realm Lian Kaijiang. Unimaginable terror. It's really just like the flying swords in the novels of the immortal hero. Using the pubes and the power of the fleshly body to nourish it, using the rarest and most precious metals to nourish it, it can become so powerful. Long Fei was secretly excited. At this moment, over 8,000 disciples of the Lian family had already left the underground palace. Exiting the underground palace, Lian Kaijiang said lightly, "Long Fei, I've already done what you wanted me to do. Can you take it away now?" Lian Kaijiang's eyes darkened. Lian Wuchao was ready to strike. Although the Lian family disciples had withdrawn from the underground palace, they still surrounded the entrance of the underground palace so tightly that not even a drop of water could leak out. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "Do you think I'm stupid?" Lian Kaijiang's eyes turned sinister, his voice filled with anger, and he said, "Then what else do you want?" Long Fei said, "How do I know you are not keeping your promise? If I release you, what will happen if the people from your Lian family come over in an instant? Get your Lian family people to leave the Night Valley first." Lian Kaijiang said solemnly, "I, Lian Kaijiang, will keep my word. If you let me go today, I will definitely not invade Night Valley again. I, Long Fei, will do what you say. As long as the disciples of Lian family retreat out of Night Valley, I will immediately let you go." Long Fei said with a serious face as well. Lian Kaijiang knew that the ball of purple gold god's tribe energy that had fallen into the western region's domain was absorbed by Long Fei, and so did Lian Wuchao. Otherwise, how could a general-level warrior like Long Fei be able to suppress the senior realm? This savage flying sword was the best proof. It was just that they had just been merged together, and the god's tribe's power contained within Long Fei's body had not yet been completely digested. He could also break through the shackles of the royal realm. Even with the flying sword at the back of his head, Lian Kaijiang still did not want to let it go. "Who?" Lian Kaijiang said slightly, "We will each take a step back. I will have Wu'er and the others withdraw from Night Valley, but after they leave, you must take it away from me." While they were talking, he looked at Lian Wuchao. Lian Wuchao's eyes moved, he understood. At this moment, Big Sister Yi Mai whispered into Long Fei's ears, "There's a mechanism at the entrance of the underground palace. As long as you enter and activate the mechanism, no one will be able to enter." Long Fei faintly smiled at Lian Kaijiang, and said, "All right. It's time to withdraw from Night Valley." Lian Wuchao waved his hand, and said, "Withdraw." The disciples of the Lian family quickly retreated, and immediately disappeared from the Night Valley. Lian Kaijiang slightly said, "Right now, I'm the only one left. Can you take it away now? Long Fei looked at big sister Yi Mai from the corner of his eyes. The three sisters quickly went to the back. Su Su and Tan De Pao slowly went to the side. Long Fei smiled lightly. Of course, I, Long Fei, will definitely listen to your words. If I were to say that I would let you off, I will definitely let you off. When he saw the side of Long Fei, Lian Kaijiang immediately thought that there was a mechanism in the underground palace. The moment the flying sword at the back of his head fell, he would instantly crush Long Fei to pieces. Everyone entered the underground palace, leaving only Long Fei outside. Long Fei looked at Lian Kaijiang and smiled faintly, saying, "You're free." The flying sword slowly moved back. Lian Kaijiang's eyes lit up, and his mouth revealed a smile. But, at this moment, boom! A streak of purple light suddenly shot out, and an enormous aura of power instantly crushed the entire valley. Lian Kaijiang's mind sank, and he suddenly turned around. At this moment, his scalp was tingling, because a monster with an amethyst forehead was staring at him. Seeing the clothes he was wearing and the jade pendant at his waist, Lian Kaijiang's pupils contracted. Han Wuya. It was Han Wuya. East Imperial City was the first person to swallow the power within the violet gold armor fragments. Roar. Before he could finish, Han Wuya roared, and like a monster, his hands dropped. Wang. His hands turned into claws, and long purple crystals grew out from the claws as he instantly pounced towards Lian Kaijiang. Lian Kaijiang's eyes turned sinister. It was also at this time. Long Fei's eyes suddenly darkened. Holy shit, you want to steal my monster? Don't you King know who your father is? The idea moved. Long Fei softly muttered one word, kill. With a whoosh, the killing flying sword pierced forward. It directly pierced into Lian Kaijiang's head and turned his flying sword. Bam! Lian Kaijiang's head exploded open like a watermelon. Lian Kaijiang's eyes were filled with anger. He turned and stared straight at Long Fei, wanting to say something, but no words came out. Grandfather. Lian Wuchao, who was hiding in the darkness, suddenly stood up and roared, Long Fei, I will kill you. The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted as he disdainfully said, so many people wanted to kill me, yet you still want to kill me? Who do you think you are? TCH. Let's see what your grandfather can reveal. Not waiting for the notification sound to ring, Long Fei's body suddenly sunk down, his abdomen was in extreme pain, and he looked up. His pupils suddenly shrunk into needles. The killing flying sword was caught by Han Wuya. Chapter 28:45 My God, Descend. Chapter 28:45 My God, Descend. Killing sword was the inheritance of ancient power. Moreover, it was staying with Long Fei's pubes. Pubes is the root, and the flying sword is the root. If the flying sword was caught, his pubes root would also be destroyed. When Han Wuya suddenly grabbed onto the flying sword that exploded in Lian Kaijiang's mind, Long Fei's body suddenly sank down. The pubes felt as if it was being grinded by a meat grinder. The pain was unbearable to endure. Sweat poured down his forehead. The intense pain within the pubes nearly made Long Fei unable to control himself. It was different from before. His pubes was not damaged, was normal, and was a good pubes. It was just that he had the game system, and did not use much of the pubes to store the breath of true spirit. Now that Han Wuya was holding onto the flying sword, he felt like his life was being held. Han Wuya clenched his amethyst hands tightly, and his purple gold eyes emitted a peculiar sense of excitement, as if he had found a treasure. He came precisely for this flying sword. The energy that Han Wuya had fused with the violet gold armor fragments also came from the violet gold godguard's commander, the Heaven Realm, only that the fragment had a trace of the remnant soul of the Heaven Realm. As long as he found the inheritance of ancient power, he would be able to revive and be reborn. For this, Han Wuya was controlled by the power of the Heaven Realm and turned into the current Amethyst Devil. The aura of power emitted from his body was also abnormally strong. Stronger than Royal Realm. Creak, creak. The killing flying sword was gripped so hard that it creaked explosively, and the purple crystal on his palm was growing crazily, trying to bind the killing flying sword. Long Fei used all his strength to retract the killing flying sword. Not really. He did not have enough power, and he could clearly feel the killing flying sword cracking and inflicting heavy injuries. This was something that happened more than he had hoped. Once the flying sword was released, even the tiniest bit of damage would be huge. Brother Fei. What's wrong? Tan Depao saw that the situation was bad and immediately rushed to Long Fei's side. Su Su also immediately rushed out. When he saw the clothes Han Wuya was wearing, his eyes went blank for a moment, and then muttered, "Isn't that Han Wuya?" Long Fei asked, "Who is it?" Su Su said, "It's the vice principal of Donghuang College, and also the first person I told you about." When he saw the purple crystal growing out of Han Wuya's forehead and hands, which had now become monsters, Su Su was shocked. Could it be that the power from the violet gold armor fragments has made him become like this? My God. Then Big Brother Long Fei, you. Su Su looked at Long Fei and she couldn't help but worry for him. Long Fei's heart also tensed up. He had never thought of it either. If not for the Azure Dragon separating his power, he would probably be in the same state. The power of the God's tribe was extremely strange, let alone the commander level of the Violet Gold Godguard. Even if it fell, it would not die so easily. If the power of the ancient inheritance was taken away, then it would just be a matter of time before the power of the God's tribe was revived. Long Fei's heart tensed, and said, "How can I give you the power that I have obtained so easily?" F***CK. A loud sound was heard. Long Fei moved, Ache, buzz. She immediately summoned Ache out, and with an expression of an ice-cold queen, the ice bow in her hand moved. Long Fei shouted, "Use your strongest technique, shoot his mother." "Young master, what should we do now? The Grand Preceptor is dead. It was that guy who killed him. We can't let him go." "Yes. Even if he dies, I will not let him off." The people of Lian family did not leave. They had all personally witnessed Lian Kaijiang's head exploding from the flying sword that was controlled by Long Fei, and their hearts were full of hatred. However, hatred was hatred, but Lian Wuchao did not become confused like how he was at the start. He looked at Han Wuya who was tightly holding onto the flying sword, and then looked at Long Fei's unchanging appearance. His heart tightened. That flying sword is the strongest power of that purple gold god's tribe, and it will not have any side effects. Grab the flying sword first. Revenge again. Lian Kaijiang had already died. If the Lian family did not gain anything this time, it would be a huge blow to the Lian family. Without the holding the fort, the positions of the first-rate families in the Lian family would not be preserved. Whiz. A huge arrow shot out. Ache's ultimate move, Magic Crystal Arrow. Moreover, the first big move Ache made after leveling up, he was even equipped with a set of Infinity Sword. The damage should have increased by a level. However, Long Fei did not think about how much damage he would give Han Wuya, he just wanted to be dizzy. He had to return the flying sword back to the pubes, otherwise, if the flying sword was absorbed by Han Wuya, his pubes would really be crippled. And then again. Such an amazing flying sword, it was able to instantly kill the. How could Long Fei give it up to someone else? The arrow shot out. Close up, the speed was incomparably fast. Bam! It directly exploded on Han Wuya's body, causing him to instantly be stunned. Beautiful! Long Fei shouted excitedly as he rushed forward, thinking to himself, thankfully the ice cooldown time is complete, otherwise, things would have been difficult. He quickly rushed to Han Wuya's side. Han Wuya's eyes moved. His stun duration was not 3 to 5 seconds, which was a lot shorter. Long Fei's pupils contracted, F***CK. Big Butcher. The gigantic Big Butcher Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, aimed at Han Wuya who was grabbing the flying sword with both of his hands, and furiously slashed down, break. Lift it up in the air. It had already exceeded the limit of Long Fei's wrist strength, but he still clenched his teeth and endured it. He moved at full power. Boom. Crack. Crack. Han Wuya's hands broke, and directly fell to the ground. At this critical moment, when Lian Wuchao finally made his move, he began to laugh sinisterly. Ha ha ha. It's mine. His speed was incredibly fast. It was like a Chilean pouncing towards him. Tan De Pao missed a few soul crack curses, he was just too fast. This time, Lian Wuchao was determined to win. He used all of his strength to wait for a chance. As long as he got his Lian family, even without a like Lian Kaijiang, he would still be able to rush up to become a noble. He could even rule over the entire East Imperial City. Long Fei's mind tensed up. What the F***K? You want to snatch it from me? You are not qualified. As soon as he finished. After Han Wuya's dizziness ended, a cold light flashed in his amethyst eyes. At this moment, his arms that had been cut off instantly recovered. His eyes looked down at the two amethysts covering the flying sword on the ground. His gaze shifted. Buzz. A purple light shot out. The powerful imperial power smashed down heavily, instantly crushing everyone in the valley onto the ground. However, Lian Wuchao's speed did not decrease at all. He madly charged forward. Long Fei's state of mind felt extreme pain, but it did not hinder his control of the idea. Any road, my god, descend and destroy them. The idea was summoning. In the system interface, Any Road slightly raised his eyes, pointed at a golden long rod, and excitedly smiled. Hee hee. It was also at this moment. The One Piece seed faintly moved. Chapter 2846, Great God is about to turn traitor. Chapter 2846, Great God is about to turn traitor. He was carrying a few small drums on his back, and was half naked, with a golden rod in his hands. Following Long Fei's summon to the idea, Any Road seemed to have charged out of thin air. Person, Any Road attribute, lightning loyalty, 1/2 star damage, 9.5 stars speed, 9.5 stars power, billions of volts fatal weaknesses, insulator's description, too low in loyalty, there is a risk of uncertainty. Almost a perfect existence. There were no insulators in this world, even if there were, it was not absolute. Therefore, in Any Road's eyes, everything here could be smashed into smithereens. In Long Fei's eyes, it was the same. If not for the rubber fruit flying in the One Piece, it could be said that Any Road would not have such a tragedy. He was a man who wanted to become a god. Following Long Fei's summons, he descended. The golden staff in his hand moved slightly as he swept it with contempt. In that instant, his body suddenly disappeared. Boom! Bang! Bang! Two muffled sounds rang out at almost the same time. Lian Wuchao's Qilin power had been blocked, Han Wuya's power was also blocked, and it was protected under his body. Long Fei didn't even blink once. The corners of his mouth curled up when he saw the stupefied gazes of the two. He laughed excitedly and said, "Kill." He was overjoyed. Because, Any Road had slightly exceeded his expectations. 9.5 speed really isn't something to be reckoned with. Awesome. Long Fei was exceptionally excited. Lian Wuchao's eyes turned sinister as he looked at Any Road's strange appearance and his strange attire. His entire body became a little muddled. Who is this guy? How did you get out? Not just him. Han Wuya did the same. Even though he was controlled by the power of the Amethyst God's tribe, his eyes were still filled with shock, as he was completely stunned. Another new one? What the hell? It's a new trick. Brother Fei, how many strange things do you have left? Isn't this way too awesome? Tan De Pao's face was full of envy and excitement. Su Su didn't care that much and she only let out a long breath. Fortunately, it's not a girl, otherwise my ranking would have to be lower. The faraway ache made her feel even more pressured. He would crush her in any way, and if there were more of these women, she felt she would have no place to stand. The people from the Night Valley were also stunned. What is that? What a strange person. His strength is so strong. He was able to block two powerful forces in an instant. This is too powerful. It seems like we're underestimating Night King. He is stronger than any of us have imagined. To be able to kill Elder Huang, he does not only rely on the old Night King's inheritance, he also relies more on his own strength. The people of Night Valley Clan had a change in their opinion of Long Fei. This time, if it was any one of the Night Valley Clan-s, they would not be able to stop the Lian family's army, but Long Fei had done it. Furthermore, he had killed Lian Kaijiang, and avenged the dead Night Valley clan cultivators. This made them feel grateful, and now, he had summoned an inexplicably strong person, making them admire Long Fei even more. The corner of Amy Rhodes' mouth raised into an evil grin as he looked down at the world with contempt. Crack, 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 crack. Lightning flew in all directions. And it was also at this moment that Amy Rhodes faintly said, "A million volts of lightning. Catcher, catcher." The moment they came into contact with him, a huge electric field was formed around them, followed by a series of thunderous explosions. Catcher, bang, catcher, bang. Lian Wuchao felt pain all over. Raw. The speed of the Qilin changed, its entire body swiftly moving to the side. Han Wuya's reaction was even faster. In the instant the lightning exploded, his body slightly moved and he jumped out 100 meters away. His two purple crystal eyes were slightly sinister as he stared fixedly at Amy Rhodes. "Huh?" Amy Rhodes said coldly. His speed changed. Whoosh. Disappeared. In the next moment, he was behind Lian Wuchao. His eyes narrowed, and laughed softly. "You can escape?" The golden long rod moved slightly. Gently touching Lian Wuchao's body, Lian Wuchao's eyes suddenly shrank, his entire body quickly shivered, and let out a series of painful cries. "Ah! Ah! Ah! The bones are going to burst." Amy Rhodes said coldly. "Fleeing? Escape again?" Han Wuya's expression turned cold. While maintaining a high realm, he did not dare to let his guard down. In this world, no one had ever seen someone like Amy Rhodes. Possessing a lightning fruit, speed, and injuries, he was an existence that seemed to be able to explode on the surface. Long Fei was also excited. "Gods are gods, ha ha ha. Although I was completely tricked by Lu Fei, but in my heart." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish, Amy Rhodes raised both her eyes coldly, said slightly, and asked, "What did you say just now?" "Huh?" Long Fei was startled, and said, "Nothing much." Amy Rhodes said, "No, you just mentioned a person. That's the name you're talking about." There was something wrong with his gaze. Moreover, in this instant, Amy Rhodes did not continue releasing them, but coldly looked at Long Fei. F***CK. Long Fei exclaimed in his heart, "I forgot, he was oppressed by Lu Fei, so he should hate Lu Fei a lot, and I forgot." Long Fei forgot a very important matter. Amy Rhodes was not some kind of calling card. He was someone who had come from the One Piece. He was a man with self-awareness, not just a puppet. Moreover, the seeds of the One Piece had already been planted. At this time, Amy Rhodes' expression suddenly changed. He felt a sense of foreboding, and muttered to himself, "Damn, what's wrong with what's wrong? What is wrong with what's wrong? That what? God, I didn't say anything about him. You must have heard wrong." Long Fei began to quibble. Seeing Amy Rhodes slowly walk over, Long Fei felt regret in his heart. Originally, Lian Wuchao would have died, but now, coming back from the gates of hell, Amy Rhodes stared at Long Fei with incomparably cold eyes and said, "Tell him that I will definitely take back everything." Then, his figure disappeared in a flash, instantly returning to Long Fei's system space. Ding. System notification. Amy Rhodes has returned to the system dimension. Ding. System notification. Amy Rhodes is on the verge of mutiny. Please do not summon him again. A half-star's loyalty was too low. There were too many unstable factors, and that was because Long Fei had said the word Lu Fei, and then, it was a strike. This was 2F** King stupid. God, God, God Amy Rhodes. F***K, don't do that. Long Fei called out a few times, but Amy Rhodes did not have any reaction. He knew that he wouldn't be able to summon them again in the near future. If he forced them, Amy Rhodes would definitely betray them. Immediately, Long Fei looked at the flying sword that was wrapped in purple crystals on the ground. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.